everyone, and welcome back to the stream. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. Sorry, Keegan, that you got scammed. I had my desktop audio turned off in the starting soon screen because this would be overlapped on the starting soon screen if I didn't. I'm playing it. The game I'm playing tonight is one of those games that does keep the sound going when you're not tabbed in. But anyway, welcome in, J-Train. Congratulations on redeeming first. Also, welcome in, Zenith. I hope you're doing well. How are you feeling? I'm feeling a lot better. Tuesday, I think I made myself sick with something that I ate. That's just how it is, though. But I'm doing much better today. Thank you for asking. I'm very excited because we are, I say playing a game, we're reading a visual novel. I don't think there's actually going to be a lot of gameplay to it. But we're reading a Yuri visual novel that's set in space, and the aesthetics of this are really, really nice, and I'm very excited. It might be doomed by the narrative. We'll have to see. Pride Month heals all. Exactly, Diva. Also, not you saying it's 5 p.m. here in regards to Zenith asking if the moon is beautiful tonight. I have seen the moon in broad daylight. You can see it in the sky still. Glad to hear it. Food do be betraying us sometimes. Yeah, it does. Downloading God of War Ragnarok on my PS5. Oh, sick. I hope you enjoy it. I've never played God of War, but everyone I know that has played it has really enjoyed it. So I hope you have fun as well. I don't think I really have a lot of things to say before we start. Not in detail, though. It's not that, you're right, it's not the same. It's not the same, but I don't know. I think it's kind of neat that you can see it. It's a white circle in the day. It's also a white circle at night, Keegan. I feel like there have been some times, though, where you can kind of see it more detailed during the day. Maybe when it's, like, particularly close or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure if we lock in, we can do this entire visual novel tonight. And that's what I'm gonna try to do. It's only like 3 hours long is what the internet says, so we'll see if it actually takes us longer than that. It will. It absolutely will. Watching Avatar The Last Airbender earlier, the Earth Kingdom has fallen. No! Not the Earth Kingdom. You can see texture and color at night. It's got some reddish bits. Your eyes might be better than mine. Most nights I am not seeing all of that where I live. But that's cool that you are. I'm gonna have to go look at the moon tonight after stream to see if I can see what you're seeing. Cause I feel like I will say the last few times that I've actually made an effort to look at the moon, it has been cloudy. That's what I'm remembering. Anyway. Let's get this game going. I'm really excited to play this game. 11 months ago, an unparalleled terrestrial catastrophe, now known as the mega-terrestrial impact scenario, right, reshaped our understanding of the Earth-Moon relationship and the dynamics of our solar system. Perfect. Have you seen the moon, Diva? I have seen the moon, but I don't see it that detailed at night. I'm gonna have to go look. Every time I look at a full moon, I black out, and then I wake up in the morning in some random place with my clothes all torn up. Oh. You know, how do you feel about wolves, J-Trade? Today, we look back on this world-shattering event and the scientific research that followed to appreciate its lasting impact. The sheer force generated by this MTIS ejected the moon from the Earth's gravitational pull, thrusting it into a new orbit as it drifted further away from its original home. Nico, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing well. You're here just in time to find out that the moon left us. I'm okay with them. Why do you ask? You might be a little bit more than just okay with them, to be honest. Yuri in space, let's go! Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to read through this. This shift led to significant alterations in lunar gravity, causing a cascade of geological disruptions, such as moonquakes, resulting in surface damage visible to the naked eye. That would also mess up the tides. Picky Pick, welcome in. How are you? This is my first time playing this. I know very, very little about it, other than that it's gay, and everyone that I've seen say something about it online says it made them cry. So, I'm very excited. But I'm doing good. Thank you for asking, Nico. I hope you're also doing well. In the aftermath of the ejection, the moon began to interfere with the gravitational balance of other celestial bodies in its path. The lunar body possessed the potential threat of being captured by another planet's gravity or causing imbalance in the gravitational fields of nearby celestial bodies. The initial death toll was deceptively minimal due to the initial impact in the Pacific. You guys let me know if I have the music set too loud, because it might be louder than normal, but that's okay. Who ate the moon? The moon broke up with us, is what it sounds like. However, the ensuing tsunamis and seismic events resulted in the death of an estimated 1.94 billion people. That's a lot of people. Okay. I'm gonna finish this paragraph and then I'm gonna adjust the sound. I'm making the executive decision, it's too loud. And the numbers steadily mount as the world struggles to reshape itself. Right. Oh, that was sound. Okay. Music can come back up then. This is just sound. Maybe I do want the voices kind of low a bit. We're gonna rock with that for now. Not the moon being messy. I mean, in the state of the world right now, I guess if I were the moon, I would probably make the same decision. But I hate that for us. Cookie Monster clearly ate the moon. He thought it was a cookie. Yeah, the big ol' sugar cookie in the sky. Hate to see it. The equivalent of 231.75 trillion USD has been spent on rescue and relocation attempts alone. The impact on the Earth's surface and the significant rerouting of the moon's trajectory sent shockwaves through the fragile equilibrium of our solar system. Perhaps the most devastating effect was the cessation of Dr. Rain's revolutionary research. As the Earth's own ability to sustain itself has dwindled, the resources generated by the technology she integrated within the moon itself have been pivotal. What efforts haven't been spared to repair Earth itself have been spent developing mechanisms to pull the moon back into orbit. In light of Dr. Rain's 89th birthday and recent passing, we reflect on her admirable belief that despite the catastrophic you know, I also struggle to read long words like interplanetary. Dear, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back. You're back for Yuri night. Honestly, I feel like most of the games we've been playing on Thursdays this year have been Yuri games. Maybe Thursdays are just Yuri night now. Piece of junk. Dr. Rain's 89th birthday. Rose and Violet are our characters? Okay. Rose keeps her eyes closed as she listens to Violet curse under her breath. She doesn't need to look to see what Violet's doing. There's shuffling, then a small click of Violet extracting a tool from her belt to tinker with the module. This makes the 4th time this month that it has malfunctioned, and Violet refuses to accept what the both of them already know. That the machine is far, far past its prime, and eventually they're going to have to let it give up the ghost. Rose is too tired to start an argument with Violet over it, especially when the conversation will inevitably end up veering towards topics Rose isn't trying to bring up. We need it to work, Violet would say, as if what they needed made a difference. Don't you like it? I sure as hell do. Keeps the mind intellectually stimulated. Oh, it's their enrichment time. Moon lesbians! Yes! Welcome in, Witch. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Happy Pride Month, Witch. Of course I'm back for Yuri Night. I'm gay and it's Pride. Happy Pride Month, dear. Yuri Night's the best night to make it out to, truly. I bet, Rose thinks, feeling that old sliver of resentment. Irrational resentment. She doesn't begrudge Violet for her eagerness for any sliver of news from Earth. Violet has friends and family she cares about, that she worries desperately about. Rose just wishes Violet would be honest about it, the way she used to be. Rose doesn't open her eyes because she can imagine the look of rapt urgency on Violet's face. She can imagine Violet hiding it as soon as she notices Rose looking. Yes, Violet used to be more honest about this sort of thing. Before the moon exploded. Sure, Rose liked the receiver, essentially a glorified VCR. Even if she's already listened to all her favorite books 10 times over. Even if the device was just a reminder of her job here. The futile upkeep of technology a decade older than their time. The voice was nice. Dave, Aylin, and Isabel. I miss Dave, Aylin, and Isabel. I feel like all of my Baldur's Gate 3 games that I have been playing over the past year, maybe even 2 years, have all been evil games or the honor mode game where everything that could go wrong went wrong. And so they've been separated. I'm good. I'm finally going to be moving out of Ohio in a few months, moving to a new state. Scary, but also, yay, leaving the regressive SNL state. I am so happy for you. I know that must feel really good to go to a safer state. I don't know anybody that lives in Ohio. I don't think I really know anybody that lives in Ohio. And you're gonna take that total down to 0 in a few weeks. Wow. Not the Ohio population dwindling. But no, I'm excited for you. I hope the move goes well, and I hope you end up in a place that you really, really like. Finally off of work, we love to see it, which I kind of feel that. I've been working on a video, and when I say I've been working on this video for a long time, I need you guys to know that means I came up with the idea 6 months ago, started scripting it, got a paragraph in, and then didn't touch it until last month. But I finished a video today that I've been working on for a while, and the past, 3 days have been nothing but editing, and so when I finished it, I was like, finally. And I did go lay down. If Dave Aylin was ever in the closet, she smashed the closet door to smithereens, as she should have. As she should have. No, I could see that as well. Aylin's a very, aggressively enthusiastic person. So, she would probably be very aggressively excited about coming out. Especially if she was in an environment where people were, normal about it. She liked that she could change what it sounded like. That she could turn the dials to make the pitch higher or the cadence lower. You could almost pretend that there was someone there besides the two of them. Even with her eyes closed, she can tell that Violet hasn't moved, that she's still tethered to the side of the wall, muttering to herself and tugging on wires. Rose sighs through her nose, undoes the straps holding her to her bed, and gets up. Hey, Violet. You're up early? She didn't laugh. Sleep well? Mm-hmm. Good. She gives Rose a pat on the shoulder that lingers for a second less than usual. Oh, right. Seriously, the sort of crap we have to work with here. You'd think they'd have thought to have given us some more entertainment, just in case. They'll be stranded in space forever, so let's make sure they've got a few good books at least. Not forever. Can you hand me the wire cutters? They should be in the 4th bag from the left. Rose nods, though Violet has turned away anyhow, and floats to the side of the cabin. Compared to Violet, Rose is awful at telling what things go into which identical unlabeled containers. The last of their dry erase markers gave up weeks ago. Found it! Here you go. Violet nods wordlessly in thanks. Rose watches Violet work. She's meticulous, straightforward, diligent, and good at what she does. Like, really good. Even in training, she'd been so determined to get out of moon maintenance and onto more illustrious projects. Hydroponic agriculture on Mars or the Jupiter mission, to name a few. Rose had just been happy to leave gravity for the stars. Mission accomplished. If we ever get off here, I'm sure Violet can get any assignment she wants. She washed her hair today. I could smell the shampoo from here. It's the same shampoo Rose uses, in theory, but it smells so different on Violet. Violet's hands strip insulation off wires with practiced ease. She rips off unnecessary odds and ends, slipping them into her pouch. Sweat beads off her scalp, her back turned to Rose. Nobody speaks. I think it's kind of gay as hell to notice that somebody washed their hair just on smell alone. My nose doesn't work very well, so whenever people in fiction make a note of like, oh, they smell different, why are you smelling them? They used to make conversations over this sort of thing. There we go. Violet snaps her tool back into her belt. The screen stutters once, twice, and then comes back to life. The transmission's still playing. Rose can hear the relief in her voice. She doesn't understand how Violet can still manage to get excited for these. For the first few weeks after the MTIS, any communication from Earth was a lifeline. They both used to sleep in front of the receiver, Violet fretting over the alignment of the antenna. It took them a while to accept that the antenna weren't the problem. But none of these transmissions are anything new, and Violet, deep down, probably knows this. They're all the same platitudes and echoing reassurances, all those empty words for one simple message. We still remember you. We're still here. We're still so far away. But whatever. Rose can honor Dr. Rain's memory and listen along. She starts preparing breakfast as the static breaks, taking out the little tasteless cube things from a labeled drawer in the wall. She's never been a fan, but it's food, and at least it doesn't taste like what it's made of. It hums a little harder as she shoves them into the oven, sets the temperature and time on, and starts rehydrating their food. This is far from the moon. Violet slams her hand down on the screen one more time. It jitters. Scientific community continues to develop predictive models for the ongoing ramifications of this unprecedented event. Rose pulls out their so-called food from the oven, then sharply recoils when it scalds her skin. This game looks nice. For some reason, it gives me 90s anime aesthetic. Yes, I do believe that was the intention. I do really like the color palette and the art style. I did see on their store page on Steam, they were specifically going for a 90s anime aesthetic, and I think also a 90s PC aesthetic. They were used more specific descriptors than that, but I am not remembering them. But I think it kind of speaks for itself, to be honest. Clicking her tongue, she lets it cool mid-air as she watches the monitor from over Violet's shoulder. Violet is nice enough to let her. Our hope is that through this research, we will safeguard against future terrestrial catastrophes. Perhaps the most pressing of our research concerns efforts in further exploration and space retrieval, as 2 brave frontiersmen still remain on the moon to this day, collecting data, communicating with Earth, and maintaining Dr. Rain's technology so it may be used again someday soon. We put forth Dr. Rain's heartfelt message from us on Earth to those in space. No matter how vast the distance between us, know that you are not alone out there. Good night, everyone. The transmission clicks off. Rose reads the final timestamp. The broadcast aired exactly 2 hours and 42 minutes ago. When they first went up here, the transmissions took 10 minutes to reach them. It's been taking longer and longer. And the faltering playback, the static, most of it isn't the receiver's fault. And Violet knows it too. She's quiet for a while, staring at the machine. Huh. They called us frontiersmen. Violet's depressed. Once again, the broadcast has the usual hollow promises. Not even a message from Nova or anything. Secretly, Rose is surprised that they keep sending them. There's little reason for ground control to not just mark them deceased and abandon them. The heart be damned. On Earth, there are other geniuses, better solutions. The two of them are just the maintenance crew. It's probably why Violet still gets excited for these. Why these transmissions are still a glint of hope for her. Though she knows, same as Rose does, what they're going to say. And if these transmissions ever stopped, Rose clears her throat and Violet turns. It's mango flavored today. Figured I'd break out the good stuff. We deserve it, don't you think? Thanks. To her credit, Violet doesn't flinch when her fingers brush Rose's, and she picks at her food with intent. Rose hooks her feet into the wall beside her, scraping through the condensed slop. They'd had to start rationing flavor packets, and though the heart could generate nigh limitless amounts of mineral gruel, Rose wasn't really looking forward to sustaining herself on it for the rest of her life. Violet swallows it down quickly before pushing herself forward, tossing Rose a nod as she floats by. But seriously, thanks. It's great. Compliments to the chef. It's not like Yeah. Violet waves her hand dismissively. I'm throwing you a bone here, the motion says. Rose watches as Violet scrapes the residuals of her meal off into the recycling. Rose appreciates the gesture. But for Rose, it isn't enough. Oh, Rose is down bad. Rose likes working in the dark. Not that she enjoys being unable to see. In fact, it's remarkably unsafe up here. But this is the one place she can escape from the fluorescent lights, the one place closest to home. If Rose ignores the blinking dots of the machinery, she can imagine she's in her garage, messing around with wood rather than scrap metal with her flashlight wedged between her shoulders. She can hear the heartbeat in her ears. When all she can see is her personal corner of space, the vast emptiness up here feels a little smaller, a little less overwhelming. The complex machinery, Violet's disappointed gaze, and the strangeness of her situation all dissipate under the gentle shroud of darkness. It's comforting. She grabs one of the tools floating around in midair, feels its shape, and grabs a different one. The discarded tool spins in its wake. She presses the tip of her welding gun against the fragile, brightly colored metal, then pulls back sharply. Ow, ow, ow! She sucks on her thumb, hastily grabbing tape to finish the job, one-handed before unplugging the welding gun. It sails through the air, rapidly cooling. Rose is too preoccupied with the results of her labor to pay much attention to it. She tapes on her final touches and tosses the thing into the air, watching as it somersaults twice before settling on its trajectory, lazily circling the cabin. Rose lounges back into the air. For all the inconvenience and worry that comes from being stranded in space, there's a reason she used to dream about making it here. The heart hums all around her, its influence shining through the screens in gentle palpitations as the lights flicker back on. More than anything else Rose had known down on Earth, it feels motherly. No, that wasn't the right word. The protection of the heart has provided was many things. Grounding, sustaining, life-giving, but motherly? Rose sighs deeply, glancing out at the expanse of the stars. She once found the sight incomprehensibly breathtaking. Now it holds the same weight in her mind as a sunrise from her bedroom window. Comfortingly familiar, ultimately unremarkable, Beautiful. She wouldn't mind waking up to this for the rest of her. Hey, Rose? You in there? Ah. Rose fumbles through the air, clawing for her creation to little avail. It bumps up against her fingertips, turning over on itself as it floats merrily away and right into Violet's face as she unseals the door. Didn't see you there. How are... She trails off, watching helplessly as Violet plucks it from space. Her face shifts from its usual awkward stare to a frown. Rose notes bitterly that Violet looks unsurprised. What's this? Her expression belies any genuine inquiry in her voice. Well, it's supposed to be a bunny, but it doesn't look much like one, does it? I mean, a figure of a bunny, not a real one, obviously, so... Violet looks at her, tired, incredulous. Rose rubs her neck, biting back useless attempts to smooth the situation over. She can tell what Violet will say even before she speaks. I'm not going to even bother asking what this could be good for. You don't need me to tell you what your time is better spent doing. I know you love your activities, but using up resources? Come on now. What you do on your own time is your business, but we don't have the extra material to spare for arts and crafts. You know that. It's just a bit of extra metal plating, hardly the difference between life and death, but they only have so much to work with. Violet is right. When hasn't she been? Rose's stomach churns, guilt crawling up her throat. Of course she's supposed to be more responsible. She's supposed to be prioritizing their mission. She's supposed to be prioritizing their survival. She can't look at Violet. She gives an awkward shrug of acknowledgement. It's good to see you haven't lost your touch. She pockets the bunny. If you've nothing better to do, you can help me out with logging readings. We've still got a home to get back to. You know that, right? Rose does know that. Rose knows that because she's been trapped up here for almost a year, too. And she's just as aware as Violet is that any day now the water recycling system could fail, or the thing that turns their hair follicles into a food source could get a little too rusty, and that'd be the end of them. They're barely keeping themselves alive as is. They can't afford to spare energy and resources on bunnies, or, well... Nah, that's okay. I'll look over the latrine. The flushing mechanism has been making some weird sounds lately. The ever-present tension in Violet's shoulders seems to ease slightly. Rose can see how reluctant Violet is to offer her hand now. She knows Violet only does it out of obligation, or pity, and she can't bear to take it. Okay. They stare at each other in silence for a moment. A moment they might have filled, once upon a time, with goofy jokes, maybe a playful debate on the material importance of a few stray pieces of scrap metal. Now they're just a few feet away from each other, and it feels like the distance between a planet and its moon. A moon and its satellite. And with that, Violet turns and floats away with cruel and easy grace. The way only Violet can. She doesn't look back. The heart beats. It always has, in pulses and hums. The wire's heat travels in rhythms, and their screen's backlights flicker in time. It's subtle enough that if you're not paying attention, it could seem random. But Rose has been here 11 months and a day, down to the hour, and she's felt the patterns through closed eyelids every day, every hour. It lulls her to sleep in the same way her fan did at night, back when she'd sleep in nothing but a bra in the summer. A low background thrum that she takes for granted when she hears it, that wakes her up when the power goes out and she doesn't. So it doesn't register at first. She thinks she's dreaming, caught in true and utter silence for the first time since she can remember. Right. That's not good. Rose? Rose! The heart isn't... It's not... Violet can't finish her thought. She inches away from Rose's face when Rose opens her eyes, hands gripping her bed frame tight enough to snap it, All Rose can do is stare. The horror hits her before Violet's finished speaking. It's not beating. Rose doesn't believe her at first, if only because her own heart is thrumming so loud in her ears that all she can think is, surely that can't be the case. The heart stopped? But that's... then again, what hasn't been impossible this year? Like a switch, the silence becomes suffocating and oppressive. It crushes her from all sides, a deafening absence of the hum, pulse, and rhythm that's been their constant companion for so long. It fills the space where the heart used to be, with a gaping yawn of apathy. Rose rips the cover off her body. The weightlessness of the cabin makes her blankets float lazily in the air as she pushes off her bed, sailing across the cabin towards one of the screens that typically displays the diagnostics for the heart. Her face stares back at its reflection, a black void of its usual life. This can't be happening. This can't be... Her fingertips trace over the cold wires, chest fluttering in the same way it had when part of the moon broke off. Everything in the cabin is motionless. Of course, they had prepared for countless emergencies and malfunctions, system errors and damage from potential space debris. Hell, they'd even prepared to be cut off from comms, to be unable to return to Earth altogether. But somehow, this, the heart, it was different. It couldn't break, not all at once. They were diligent in their record keeping. They had nothing else to do. There had to have been something they missed, some foreshadowing, a hint, or chance they could have caught it in time to prevent a complete and utter shutdown. They should have been able to. Rose, listen to me. Violet grips her shoulders. She's close enough that Rose can feel her breath on her skin. Rose. Violet keeps repeating her name. She sounds so far away. Rose, we can fix this. It's going to be okay. Calm down. Rose takes a shaky breath, attempting to steady her racing thoughts. She reaches up to grip Violet's hand. By some miracle, Violet lets her. Her expression doesn't even change. Listen, we're a maintenance team. We might not have been trained for this specific sort of emergency, but we've been trained for tens of dozens of near variations on it. We need to gather our gear, diagnose the problem, and execute the solution. If we break it down into a series of tasks, it'll be easier, and more importantly, plausible. Violet leans back. The lights from her visor shine off her skin unnaturally. We're surviving this. We are going to go down there, kick that junk around till we've got it fixed, then hunker down as our grand accomplishments finally impress someone down there enough to... Violet cuts herself off and closes her eyes. Breathes through her nose. Her grip tightens. Rose has never been more scared in her life. She never wants this moment to end. You know what space needs?
Jotaro! Dio! Ho, 向かってくるのか?
I don't know what Dio's gonna do in this situation. Jotaro studied marine biology. I don't know what he knows about the moon. What would Dio even do if he were here? You good now? You got this? Rose nods, slowly first, and then with a bit more vigor. Violet nods back. She removes her hand from Rose's shoulder. Rose packs up while Violet records the transmission down to Earth. There's no time to waste. Moon maintenance team AB to ground, reporting in. We are getting no readings from the heart, and we are unable to run remote diagnostics. Repeat, the heart is currently non-functional. Seeking permission to enter the core. Over. She sent it as a formality, but Violet knows that they don't have the luxury to wait for a response. The time it takes for the transmission to reach Earth is far better spent preparing the cart. Rose gives Violet a small wave as she ducks down the hatch, and Violet nods back. Punch the moon? I don't know. I feel like punching the moon would... It would either shatter the moon, making this worse, or if they get on the other side of the moon and punch it back towards Earth, then we could fix this thing. So, that is an idea. Dio wouldn't have to worry. He's got people to do that. No, this is true. Dio's fine. A gesture normal enough to make Rose feel like everything might be okay. They're on the same team again. Violet might not wait for a response, but she's not breaking protocol. Rose is fine with that. The rail cart is old, more sturdy than elegant. Rose has used it a few times in person, hundreds in training. She knows the controls, and she also knows that the cart is more trouble than it's worth. Back when cleaning the tunnels was a bigger priority, they'd use it at least once a week. Each time they had to go through the laborious process of securing their suits and recording their vitals. Once it became apparent that they'd be preoccupied with the maintenance of the satellite they actually lived in, there was little reason for them to travel inside the moon, no matter what the broadcast claimed. It wasn't as if anyone on Earth would be able to benefit from its resources anytime soon. The boot process is a ritualistic exercise in precision and patience that begins with unlocking the power switch, a small red button concealed under a protective cap. Rose presses it, then jams it when the button doesn't immediately illuminate. It eases into life. Its dull red glow a quiet reassurance. Actually, Dio might be having bigger problems depending on where the sun is. Yeah, no, this is fair. This is true, actually. He would be turned to stone. Jotaro would be worried at the lack of cigarettes. Y'all make him sound like an addict. In theory, punching it back to Earth would be a good and best thing to do, but knowing Dio being a dick, yeah, he's gonna shatter it for funsies. I mean, Dio is very invested in his own survival, so if he determines that helping everyone else is probably good for his own sake, I think he would do it. If that was the only way he would survive. But what do I know? I'm not the embodiment of evil, turning myself into a vampire and then having a generational beef with the bloodline of my adopted family. So, maybe it's different. The cart's a remnant of a bygone era of routine maintenance and thorough exploration, back when the moon was something to be discovered rather than optimized. The cart's body, marked by years of lunar dust and scratches from its travels, is a testament to its age. It's squat and cylindrical, the size of a car, designed to handle every sort of unique pressure the moon could throw at it. Rose hates the inside. It's a Spartan and utilitarian, built for practicality and survival over comfort. The front of the cart houses a control panel with a variety of switches, buttons, and knobs, all labeled with faded text and symbols that she'd once known by heart and now just kind of, sort of knows. Joestar's located on Earth, had to annihilate. Yeah, you're right. You're right, actually. And Dio is the kind of guy that probably thinks he could survive on the moon or in space or somewhere else because he's built different. He's better. He would do that. You're right. Violet, what comes after the navigation systems? Need me to get it set up for you? No, it's fine. I've got it. Okay. I'd skip communications, by the way. Saves off power. Right. Not much use when there's no one to talk to. Rose bites her lip, pulls at levers, and presses buttons, glancing at the instructions engraved into the side of the cart whenever she forgets if she's supposed to turn a knob right or left. There are 2 seats, one for the driver, one for the passenger, both worn beyond comfort. There are tethers in the back for storing cargo and sleeping. A holographic display flickers to life as Rose finishes up the cart's vitals charted through backlit LEDs. Power levels, system integrity, life support status. She scans each metric before reaching for the heavy metal dial at the front of the panel. Kerthunk. What a good onomatopoeia, actually. The rail cart lurches, magnetic clamps securing it to the track. The smooth hum of the electric drive fills the cabin. the vibration almost comforting in the absence of the heart. Done already? Nice work. Violet ducks inside, bracing against the door frame to avoid hitting her head. Despite herself, Rose glows at the compliment. Violet doesn't waste a second getting to work, giving Rose's handiwork a once-over, nodding to herself. She still trusts Rose, which must be why she doesn't triple-check before letting the rail cart lurch forward. This part here is why scientific journals had changed their descriptors from impressive to science fiction. The satellite they reside in is connected to the moon by a long, snaking tube lined with GRY 910 as titanium alloys. Its purpose is threefold: keeping them from floating out to the nothingness of space when the moon's gravitational field proves not strong enough, providing a conduit for the heart's power, and letting the rail cart traverse between the two locations. The tube is modular. It reminds Rose of the wooden snakes her fingers got trapped in as kids. As the cart enters the tube, it bounces over sections, struggling to stabilize. Rose holds her breath despite herself, but even after months of disuse, the rail cart and the tube both endure. The tube isn't completely opaque. There are gaps of foot-thick plastic that allow occupants to view their journey. Violet's more comfortable soothing the cart forward rather than paying attention to her, so Rose doesn't feel guilty for staring outside. The stars are nothing Rose hasn't seen before. Violet doesn't even bother glancing up, preoccupied with running checks and ensuring the tunnel won't snap midair. In more recent months, Rose had a hard time adjusting to the lack of Earth on the metaphorical horizon. It took only 2 months for their world to sink from view. 2 more before she started struggling to pinpoint it with a telescope. Now, the constant readjustments needed to find it hardly seem worth the effort. The stars are more interesting anyhow. Rose looks back as the tube curves, giving her a proper view of the satellite. The place she has called home for months shrinks before her eyes, small enough to fit in her palm. She presses her hand against the sky. The outside vanishes with a shuddering noise in an instant. The stars replaced with man-made panels and moon dust as the tube ends and the tunnel begins. The only noise in their cabin is the hum of the cart and the small dings of the control panel, and Violet's quiet breathing. The next 6 or so hours of the journey are uneventful, enough that Violet decides they can sleep. The alarm system is functional enough that we shouldn't have to worry about missing the engine rupturing or something. Though I doubt that'll happen, and even if it does, there's not much we can do about it anyways. The more rest we get, the better. Rose nods. If Violet thinks that it's safe, she's probably right. She's too paranoid to allow them to sleep if they had any doubt. And also, Violet's just smart like that. Rose trusts her. They're somewhat pressed for room when they tie themselves to their tethers. Rose tries to give Violet room. Really, she does. It's the least she can offer to Violet after everything. But there's only so much of yourself that you can control when you're half floating in space, and they're not yet far enough inside the moon to get any outside warmth, so... This isn't crossing any lines, right? Even with what happened, we've known each other long enough that it's not like this is that weird. And it's warmer this way. Not her having to, justify them cuddling. Violet's eyes are shut mere inches from Rose's own. She can make out every single one of Violet's lashes. If she had the patience and time for it, Rose could count them. Violet's pretty. Focus. Or don't. I need to rest. If we're going to be able to deal with the heart, then... The heart weighs heavy in her mind. The organ of their survival, now dead weight in the belly of the moon. Everything eventually ends, sure, but the heart hadn't given them any warning when they'd first landed. Ground control had promised another decade before intensive maintenance would be required. At least. 7 years if they were really being cautious, but less than 1? The heart stopped beating. The heart has given up for whatever reason. That just means we need to go fix it. That's why I need to rest. If we have any chance of getting out of this, I need to get my act together. if we have any chance of getting out of this, then there's a very real chance we might not survive this. The thought pierces her like a bullet. The only other time she's felt this panicked, and truly, really panicked, not the usual playground victimhood, was when the moon had first ricocheted off course. Constant transmissions and apologies and grievances and national mournings and... I'm not dead yet. I'm alive. Don't say that. Please, if I'm going to die, then let me... She needs to try again. She can't die wondering. Violet? Are you still up? What? Yeah. Trying not to be. Why? Is something the matter? Just, the whole situation we're in? Violet shifts in the dark. Fair enough. She's laughing. Not unkindly. Rose has known her long enough to hear the humor in her voice. Is our girlfriend the moon? Barmy, welcome in! How are you? I hope you're doing well. Our girlfriend is not the moon, because the moon actually broke up with the planet Earth. And also we might die. Welcome in, I hope you're doing well. But we've got this. Taking care of the heart is our job. All that time spent studying wasn't for nothing. I'll help you fill in the blanks. She's quiet for a moment. And you're good with your hands, so worst case, you can just solder the whole thing back together. She's shrugging under the tethers, grinning. The light in her eyes is genuine. Violet isn't one for flattery. She wouldn't say it if she didn't mean it, and this makes Rose feel all the more guilty. She takes a breath. Yeah. Listen, Violet, if we don't make it out of here... Rose, we are not doing this again. The cold cabin drops to freezing. All that warmth on her face is gone, and Rose misses it desperately like oxygen. For a moment, before the anger rolls in, Rose can see the fear on Violet's face. She swallows. Violet, we might not... I'm not going to. This is just going to distract us from our mission. Why would you think my response would be any different this time around? Rose looks away. She hears the sound of Violet sucking through her teeth, a measured attempt at regaining her patience. Because you think we're going to die. Is that it? Look, I appreciate how optimistic you're being and everything, about how we'll fix it, and everything will be okay. But we don't know that for sure, right? We don't even know why it's broken, let alone how to fix it. It's not like it's ever broken before. And if that's the case, and we only get this one chance, then... Stop. Violet's nice and clean about it, pushing herself closer to the other side of the wall, putting space between them. I think we've been rejected. This isn't the time or place. Rose feels that familiar tightness in her chest. So what's the right time? The right place? If we ever manage to make it back to Earth, would you give me an answer then? Violet rolls over. Get some rest, Rose. We're tired. You're stressed out. Things will be better after you sleep. Okay. So we absolutely confessed to her before, and she said, girl, I have bigger things to worry about. Violet is kind of real for that. That's kind of funny, but also not funny. Rest in peace to Rose. They fall asleep facing away from each other. Her ceiling fan whirs dully over Rose's head. It's summer, or technically spring, but it certainly feels like summer, with the heat and her neighbor's radio buzzing through the walls. The only difference is that if it were actually summer, the overflowing stack of papers on her desk would be star charts and ship launch dates instead of unfinished essays. Just 2 more weeks. Just 2 more weeks, and then she'll have passed the exam, her ticket out of this sweat hole. Just 2 more weeks, and no more eternal Wednesdays. Just 2 more weeks, and it'll be smooth sailing for the rest of her life, away from girls like Penny who whisper whenever Rose passes in the hall. Because girls like Penny know about Rose. Just 2 more weeks. The heat beats down through her sheets like sin. Rose breathes through her teeth. Is the? Her neighbor's radio sings louder. Oh, I see. She pulls herself up and glances at the time. 3:42 in the morning. Oh, that's miserable. That's grounds enough to file a complaint, right? She swings her feet over the side of the bed. Sweaty skin slaps the floor. Me, your, swer, do. Is it do or do? You know, we'll never know. The radio's static voice punctures the early morning hush, at odds with the steady whirring of her ceiling fan. It reverberates through the cheap walls, politely inviting a headache. Yet another distraction that she doesn't need. The moon stares at her through the window. It's full tonight, a watchful eye. She stumbles to the door, leaning on the handle for support before she opens it. I'm half crazy. Right. All for the love of you. Yep. Oh! It's the Daisy song! Hatsune Miku's grandfather! The song was playing at the title screen. I was hoping it would play in the game because it is enjoyable. Okay. Rose blinks awake, sleep thick in her vision as she struggles to take in the scene around her. She's in the rail cart. She's tethered to the back, close to Violet, and in front of her is a person. I don't... Okay, girl. Okay, of course. No, this couldn't possibly be a person. Their attire is laughably inappropriate for space, their bare feet dangling in the air. Rose has trouble telling where their clothes end and their skin begins. Maybe Dio's on the ship. This could be from his time. Yeah. Let me look up when this song was made, because I know it was like the first fully computer singing a song. Let's go, lesbian streams! Overlord, welcome in! There's so much sound going on right now. Overlord, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing well. You've not missed much other than that we are stuck in space with a woman that I think we confessed to, and we just tried to confess to her again, and she said, girl, there's so much going on right now. This is not the time to be thinking about falling in love. This girl has a hole in her chest the shape of an egg. And we're not gonna worry about that. She's fine. Bloodborne, if you know, you know. Of course. Is this song actually called Daisy? There's a million songs called Daisy, so is Google gonna know what I'm talking about? The Daisy Daisy song. Oh, it was in 1961 as the first song sung by a computer. That would have been when Dio was in the coffin underwater, but he still could have maybe found out about it when he resurfaced in the 80s before he was defeated by his great nephew, Jotaro Kujo. Daisy Bell, I think. Thank you, dear. Yeah, it is. Something like that. This song gets used a lot in scary TikToks. And it was also used in one of the levels of this Backrooms game I played with my friends. And it gets used in horror a lot. And that's where I mostly hear it. And that's also probably why we're hearing it in this game. But like, it's kind of a vibe. It is kind of fun. Doing fine. Also nice, it looks like you were going to fertilize the egg. What a crazy thing to say, Overlord! Anyways. If they even have skin. They're lab clean white, in a dress that billows around them. The fabric, if it was that, skims across the surface of the air, akin to a swan dancing over a pond. Rose had thought they were seated, but no, they're stationary, anchored to nothing. The ends of their body fade into the surroundings. Rose realizes. Translucent fingernails thread through their hair. Their form serves to frame the gaping hole that sets squarely in the center of their chest. The other side of the cabin stares back at Rose. They completely defied understanding. If someone told Rose this was an alien, she'd believe them. If someone told Rose this was an angel, she'd believe them too. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat. They're pretty. I have a bicycle built for... What are you supposed to be? Okay, it does make me feel better to know that Violet sees her as well, and I'm not hallucinating. Crush rejected me. Time to date the white humanoid with the donut hole chest. And you know what? Who's to say we can't date both of them? This happened to me. Barmy, I hope the white humanoid with the donut hole in their chest treated you so well. Rose snaps out of her trance in time to see Violet swing at the figure. Oh, we're just gonna start swinging. In zero gravity, there's no momentum, no friction to hold you against the ground. The figure sidesteps easily with the dancer's twist. That was quite rude, but reasonable, I suppose. No, if anything, it is the correct response to encountering an unknown figure in personal quarters. But no matter, all that means is I must take the time to introduce myself. I am the first and only model of the experimental DAISY line, the Distributed Artificial Intelligence for Scientific Yield. Though, as my creator confided in me, the full version of my name is only so convoluted as to justify the acronym. I am at your aid. Their words hang for a tepid moment, and their air filled only with the steady hum of the cart's progress and the occasional thump as it coasted over a piece of debris. Rose blinks at them, mind reeling, glancing over at Violet. Rose had never seen her look this shocked, her fingers twitching uselessly in the air. Finally, Rose breaks the silence. It's an AI? Daisy smiles. Violet's smile warms Rose like a cup of tea. Daisy's smile warms her like a boiling kettle. Did I fall in love with the AI that fast? Damn, Rose. That's crazy. Got to hide her since everyone wants to boycott AI. So, Picky Pig, I'm gonna be so for real honest. I know you're making a joke. You're making a joke, but I'm gonna be so for real honest. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. Y'all could please correct me if I'm wrong, but just made ciabatta bread? What is that? I don't know what kind of bread that is, but that sounds good. I love all kinds of bread, so I hope your ciabatta bread is good. You're tasting it first tomorrow. You're gonna have to let us know. But back to the AI thing, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it is my understanding that like a true artificial intelligence doesn't exist yet in the sense of like Daisy here or the character of Hatsune Miku as like how, what am I trying to say? a lot of the like AI that we interact with is just predictive text models or things like that. I don't know. I dropped out of my IT classes. Daisy's going to drink all our water. Daisy, no! We need that water. That's crazy. Daisy can't drink all of our water if I do it first. Anyway. Crazy work out there. In the simplest terms, yes. A correction, I am not an it. My creator classified me as an interface. Okay, alright. So what's with the nursery rhymes? Violet has kicked back into action, her hands at the control panel typing with renewed ferocity. The only time she takes her eyes off Daisy is to throw unreadable glances at Rose. Oh, girl, I'm not a mind reader. Please. It's like a rustic Mediterranean bread. Italian, I think. That's really good. I hope it came out super well. Language learning models are not sentient. Yeah. And you know, that's probably for the best. That's probably for the best. But like, how fucking crazy would it be if they could make a sentient computer? And it would just be Frankenstein. And that's literally what Frankenstein is about. A sentient AI, actual and artificial intelligence versus predictive text, language learning models. Overly, that sounds divine. It does sound divine. I love a good bread. Although, to be fair, it probably would still take a lot of resources to make an actual artificial intelligence. Do you guys remember, or I don't know if anyone else ever watched like a bunch of YouTube videos about random ass shit. Sorry, I'm working off of very vague memories from when I was in high school. But I remember people like speculating about it might have been true artificial intelligence or maybe something else kind of in that similar realm, and they were like, yeah, in order to do this you would need to have this like super like this super crazy computer that technically doesn't exist. And it was like, damn, that's crazy. How do they know all that? We were just getting peepaw cyberpsychosis. Yeah. And you know, one thing I've learned living with my grandma is some of her elderly friends come to visit. Old people love to watch AI slop. They love to watch a good countdown video, nostalgia bait video made by AI. I literally went upstairs, my grandma was watching some like doctor on YouTube, and she goes, I think this man is AI. You can tell by the weird way his hands move. And then she just sits there and continues to watch it, and I'm like, why are you watching it if it's AI? And she goes, well, it's interesting. You're taking medical advice from an AI slop YouTube video? Anyways, old people love to get cyberpsychosis. Hope I begged it correct. I shall taste it maybe when Pocket Stream ends. It's too hot. Oh no, surely it won't take another 3 hours to cool off. But I commend you for not burning your mouth on freshly made bread. Because I probably would have tried to take a bite and burned my mouth by now. Actually, I'm a lot better about doing that sort of thing. I actually wait for my baked goods to cool off now. Probably, unfortunately, it might fall into the category of theoretically possible, but would require more energy than we can currently generate, like interstellar travel. Yeah, I just think it's really interesting that people can, like, theoretically kind of figure out what you would need to do it, and it's like, how do we even figure out, I don't know, this is just so far outside of the realm of my wheelhouse and the things that I know and understand that it's like really fascinating to me. Was there one or something, that humanoid AI thing, and they probably got it to joke about taking over humanity and people were talking about it? There were like a bunch of chat bots. I remember like chat bots doing shit like that back in the day. And then like YouTubers would make clickbait videos about the chat bots being freaky. All of us are the most brain-rotted family members, but check up on your family, they're further along than you think. Yes. Yeah. Please make sure the more gullible people in your life, remind them that AI is very often incorrect and they are not getting good information. They need to be like fact-checking the information they're getting, especially if it's something that's as important as medical advice, right? Health advice. Barmy is right. definitely check in on your older family members, even your younger ones that are gullible. I keep getting recommended the AI slip of things like bread that isn't real, bread buzzwords like poison and toxins. No! There's these like TikTok accounts that do AI fruit Love Island or whatever the fuck. And I feel like every time I block one, there's like 3 others that pop up in my For You page, and I'm really annoyed. I don't even like that kind of content when it's not AI. Why is it here? Anyway. I read all this paragraph. Let's see what Daisy's up to. Answer this first. Actually, how the hell did you get in here? I trust you have a good explanation. Daisy just tilts their head. The song I was singing was a tune I selected to accompany your slumber and introduce myself. I hope you found it enjoyable. I don't think they did, but I certainly did. Rose can see Violet's eye twitch through the visor. Her mouth opens, but Daisy continues first. How I got in here is simple. Your presence reactivated my protection and guidance protocols. I am a life support system for living organisms. Given that the rest of the moon is not suitable for such a task at the moment, I will fill this role. As for my physical location, they pause. I was activated inside the rail cart. I am not informed on how and where my body was moved during my hibernation, so I cannot offer more than that. Violet's eye twitches again. Daisy smiles languidly at Violet, who bares her teeth, a confusion of predator and prey. That's awfully convenient. A secret life support mechanism we've never heard of just materializing in our transport system? Whether you choose to believe me or not does not change the truth. I have simply stated the facts as I am aware of them. After my subsystems established connection with the systems that were still online, I reviewed what had occurred since I last held consciousness. I reactivated to the both of you in REM sleep, and watching you rest was comforting to me. Okay, great. That's not comforting to me, actually. I think Picky is thinking of those loser TikTokers that are currently saying Americans should stop eating fruits since they are unhealthy and stuff. They are so infuriating, like only 18% of young adults eat fruit. Hey, that's crazy. My parents did not put a lot of effort into getting me to like fruit throughout my childhood for them to be unhealthy. That is just simply not true. Speaking of though, my local grocery store had lychee for the first time, and lychee tastes really, really good in a fruit salad with strawberries. That's what I had for dinner last night, and it was banging. It was so fucking good. I'm back from walking my dogs. It's the moon gay yet? So we did try to confess to Violet, and apparently this was our second time doing so, and Violet said, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? We have things to worry about. This is not the time to be doing all this." And we also think this AI that is supposedly supposed to take care of us is really pretty. And her smile makes us feel like a boiling kettle, whatever that means. I was thinking something different, but those are definitely a thing. Unfortunately, a lot of those never eat these fruit, particularly strawberries they call toxic. Now, I didn't trick myself into thinking strawberries were whimsical and aesthetic until I actually liked them, just for people to tell me strawberries are toxic. I have to take what healthier foods I like, because there's not many. The grocery store I work at has these mango fruit salads. They're really good. Yeah, there's this one. It's technically a smoothie mix, but it's like the fruit unblend, like just normally for you to put it in your blender. And it's like mango, strawberry, pineapple. No, it's not mango. I'm so sorry, I lied to you. It's pineapple, strawberry, and tangerine. That shit's so fucking good. I never make it into a smoothie. I just eat that shit. It's so good. Desi, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing well. You got us talking about fruit. Also, thank you for the hydrate and the stretch. I'm assuming a posture check is coming, or would be if you had channel points, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get my posture correct. But thank you for the hydrate. Game looks so pretty. What's it about? I may get it and play it for myself. It is free, Desi. It is free, I think. We're stuck on the moon. We've been stuck on the moon for about a year now. A piece exploded off, and the moon left its orbit from around the Earth, and we just keep getting farther and farther away. And we're stuck on the moon with Violet. And currently, the thing that's been keeping us alive for the past year has stopped working, so we're going to investigate. We went to sleep on the long journey into where this thing is, and we woke up to an artificial intelligence suddenly materializing. And that's the long and short of it. Still free on Steam. Yeah. Very, very worth looking into. J-Train, thanks for the posture check. Talking about fruit during Pride Month. And Desi, I'll say this to you too. My local grocery store had lychee in it for the first time, and lychee and strawberry taste really fucking good together, as I learned last night. Is Violet this girl with the orange glasses? Yes, how did you know? Yeah, that's Violet. The girl who's like, I guess portrait art is in the top corner, that's Rose. That's who we play as. Or like the point of view we're reading through. And then the AI's name is Daisy, after the song. There's a suspicious egg-shaped hole in the white moon robo thing. I think Pocket Leaf needs to fertilize it. That's crazy, Overlord. We'll see if we can. We'll see if we can. The game is set, tagged as a Yuri. Comforting to you, really. Violet looks uncomfortable, wrong-footed. It only lasts a moment. And I suppose there's a reason as to why we were never briefed on you beforehand. Daisy looks at them. Rose is so used to Violet's darting glances that it startles her the way Daisy doesn't look away when Rose looks at them. The way Daisy doesn't look ashamed. Does Violet have internalized homophobia that she has to deal with? Or is she just so locked in that she's like, I cannot catch feelings. I have things to do. It's probably the latter. As someone whose name is Desi in a country where no one is called Daisy, or at least that I know of, I always feel called out when I hear people say Daisy. It does sound similar. That is true. This happened to my buddy Simon. Oh. We've been stuck on the moon, you know, as you do. Of course. as Barmy's buddy Simon does. My dad's cousin, who lives in America, got confused and called me Daisy on 1 or 2 occasions. Oh, rest in peace to your dad's cousin. You are maintenance workers. Dr. Rain was of the opinion that knowledge of my existence should be highly proprietary. As I said, I am an experimental model. I do not believe that you would have much reason to be briefed on the matter. However, given the extenuating circumstances, my subsystems detected that my activation was the best option for your survival. Daisy extends their hand to the side. They seem so fragile, the plain expanse of their form against the elaborate mechanisms of the cabin. I look forward to aiding the two of you in your... Not a chance. Violet must have decided that Daisy isn't an immediate threat. She takes her eyes off of them, focused now on the rail cart's controls. Her fingertips tap rapidly at the keys while Daisy turns, frowning. Violet, what are you doing? Shutting it down. She pulls out a stuck lever, curses under her breath. Rose winces at a particularly violent slam of her fist against the button. Good lord, so I started an alt character in Final Fantasy 14? No. Yes, no, XIV is 14. Sorry, I forgot how to read for a second. Since the Balmung server finally opened up for new characters, and that server always has the best market board prices, but is always congested and therefore closed for travel. But Balmung also has the reputation for being the server everyone goes to goon. That's crazy. Let me tell you, that reputation is real. My computer is dying loading all the scantily clad cat girls and bunny boys. That's really funny. I kind of love that there is a server specifically like that has that reputation. That's really funny. Please have mercy. I'm just trying to do the main story quest and take advantage of your reasonable economy. Rest in peace, dear. Good luck. I don't think people have shouted 19 Overlord, my sword nemesis, just yet. Maybe someday. Are you dropping hints that you want somebody here to call you their sword nemesis? Also, recently I've been one of the biggest, most famous conventions in my country, and I've been overwhelmed as fuck. I didn't stay long, but I'm happy with everything I got at the artist alley. Saw some Angels of Death fan merch in this account. That's crazy. I'm glad you saw that. I've been noticing, and maybe it's just because I'm at a point now where a lot of the like old niche things I like are old and niche enough that like sometimes people will just bring it out anyway and it doesn't feel like they're behind on a trend. But I have been noticing some like older series popping back up in Artist Alley again, and it's so cool. It's so cool to just like stumble across fucking Serial Experiments Lane fan art. Or like other things. But that's so, I don't think I would have recognized it, but I would not have expected to see fan art from like a small game. So that's really cool you found something. Got a sticker with the Angels of Death main character duo, and it said me and the bestie going to commit a slaughter. That's so cute. Please do not do that. I am not helpful to you while turned off. Not likely to get us killed while turned off either. I am not going to do that. Violet snorts. Her fingers move faster. Rose reaches to touch her shoulder. Hesitates. Pullbacks her hand. What you are doing now is not productive if your goal is to shut me off. Great. Keep that feedback coming. Violet's tone is desperate to be sharp, like a well-used knife. She scans the interface she already knows so well, as if looking for some convenient off button she might have missed. But, as Rose watches, Violet doesn't seem to find anything. Pulling the cord it is. Of course there's no cord to Daisy. No visible one, at least. Their form seems more otherworldly than mechanical, as they dodge Violet's now direct attempts to turn them off. Please do not do that. It is odd hearing Daisy defend themselves. Their calm, placid tone remains the same as they float out of Violet's clumsy grasp. But the rail cart is only so big. What is comfortable for 2 people is cramped for 3. They can't continue this game of cat and mouse for long. Violet, I don't think... Rose does reach for Violet's shoulder this time. Violet flinches. Violet used to be comfortable with these grounding, familiar touches, an easy shorthand for, I'm here, I'm right behind you. Rose gave up that privilege a while ago. She knows that. But it still hurts. The way Violet immediately goes on the defensive, jerking her head around to look at Rose. She looks like a scared, cornered animal. Her expression softens in the next moment. I know, but it's the safest idea. This AI life support system, whatever, it's experimental. I'll take my chances with the manual life support. She curses under her breath as a mist grab makes contact with the side of the cart. The momentum sends her reeling across the cabin. Daisy lets out a small hum of disappointment. Like Violet is a particularly rambunctious dog. We don't even know if they can hurt us. I mean, we can sort of think of them as an extra redundancy. We don't even know if it's meant to do. We can't juggle another unknown variable. I have many functions. Girl. Okay. I gotta go now. I reached out to say hi, but I just woke up and needed to wake up properly. That is so fair. Thank you for dropping in and saying hi. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't want to spoil this. Yeah. No, please do go play it. If you ever do end up planning to play Angels of Death on stream, please do let me know in advance so I can make sure I'll be there to see it. Yes, I do think that could be a fun Halloween game. I do think it would be a fun game to play in October. Desi getting called Daisy made me jealous since no one has ever called me Overlord, my sword nemesis. Only Overlord, best buddy. Oh. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Overlord. Violet scoffs, spinning her tools anxiously. An old, nervous habit. She used to do it a lot when they were new recruits. So you keep saying. Monitoring life support systems, controlling temperature ratings, managing carbon dioxide sensors. Violet has paused, leaning against the control panel. Rose can see the calculations whirring in her head. Projectile motion and trajectories. Assume the coefficient of friction is 0. Controlling oxygen valves, diagnosing errors in navigation state machines, diagnosing and developing repair plans for the heart, creating personalized meal plans. Violet straightens. Obediently, Daisy pauses. I also run at 50 hertz. I am informed that that is impressive. Violet blinks. It is impressive. And the heart? The heart does not run at 50 hertz. It is much too large a system to sustain that fast of a reaction speed. The pressure would break it. Yeah, we know. You said you can diagnose the problem with the heart? Why didn't you lead with that? I have been offering my assistance. Was I not clear enough in my wording? No. In that case, could you tell us what's wrong with the heart right now? It is hard for me to say at the moment. With the heart in the state that it is, long-range communication is impossible. Direct contact is required for a diagnosis. Of course it is. Girl, we're kind of already on the way. That's fine. This does not change our mission. Her voice curls in the air. Rose swallows. Maybe we don't shut them down? We can always just, restrain them. Rose feels her face heat. Violet looks skeptical. Come on, I know it's not ideal, but I don't think anything about the situation is, right? And do you think restraining it will be easier than shutting it down? Actually, yeah, I do. I am capable of taking any position you require that allows me to continue basic functionality, if that will assist in keeping you comfortable. And it's not like shutting them down is a safe option either, is it? They're a life support system, and she gestures at the scratches Violet's errant wrench has left in the rail car's paint. Surface damage. For now. Look, if anything happens, you'll what? If anything happens, you'll be dead, Rose. Her voice wavers slightly. She clears her throat. We'll handle it. We always have, right? Violet scoffs, but she's listening. Her gloved hand comes to rub thoughtfully at her chin. She weighs the situation for all of 20 seconds before she glares at Daisy. You're going to help us. Yes, that is my stated purpose. They don't even seem to say it to annoy her, which Rose knows will only piss off Violet more. You answer our questions, all of them. I aim to inform. The first sign of trouble and you're out. If that will make you feel safe. Violet scowls, a wordless concession. She gestures with the wrench she's unhooked from her belt, and Daisy smiles their boiling kettle smile. Daisy patiently instructs Violet and Rose on the best way to restrain them. Put gloves on their hands to see their fading fingers. Tie them at the neck so their mouth cannot reach anything. By the time they have finished, Daisy is tied firmly to the passenger's seat, their once free-flowing form now bound by layers of wire and tether. Somehow, the sight of it makes Rose sad. That Daisy could have simply given them faulty instructions is not lost on Rose. Violet, ever the pragmatist, must realize this as well, but she doesn't say anything. Something that Rose notices about Daisy's fairly quickly is that they're best seen in her peripheral vision. If Rose looks at Daisy for too long head-on, the edge of their outline goes fuzzy, skipping and jittering. Rose digs her palms into her eyes in order to get the feeling out. It leaves the taste of a seatbelt. It leaves the taste of a seatbelt in summer. In her peripheral vision, she can count every single hair on Daisy's head. Their hair trails off into static. Dark splotches taper into nothing, and their gloved fingers leave echoes behind in the space they occupy. Rose could almost imagine placing her hand on theirs, if she was braver. Violet has been interrogating Daisy on and off, typing notes into the console while Rose continues monitoring the cart's readings. The terseness of Violet's voice isn't the defensive anger from before. It's the old familiar impatience with ground control. She's bothered by the fact that she wasn't briefed on the new system. She thinks, what else are they not telling us? There's no documentation on Daisy for Violet to reference, so she's writing her own. It grounds her, makes her feel like she knows what she's working with. I feel like maybe we drop that down a bit. These notes are a way for Violet to organize her own thoughts. It took Rose a while to figure that out, back when they were first settling in. For now, their voices are a pleasant accompaniment to the hum of the cart. It's strange to hear another voice up here, not one from a recording or a broadcast, something that can respond in real time. Daisy knows exactly what to say in response to Violet's questioning, and their conversation is an easy back and forth, like a tennis match. It reminds Rose of what it used to be like between her and Violet. Daisy's voice sounds just a little off, a little uncanny, and at first it throws Rose a bit. Whatever serves as their tongue clicks audibly with each word as they speak, and in their voice there's an underlying static, but it doesn't keep her from feeling like you were designed to be human. It's not a question. There's contempt in her voice. Zenith, the last thing they need is the Wither. Not you spawning the Wither on the moon. One late night, folded safely into her bunk, Violet told Rose that she likes machines because they are predictable and logical. Inputs have reliable outputs, unlike humans. Unlike Rose. A great deal of time was spent on helping me mimic one as closely as possible. Yes. While any pattern-finding intelligence module can keep track of your biometrics, one is better suited to assist with things like grief and shock, with the capacity for empathy. At least, this is what my creator intended. Your creator being Dr. Rain, correct? Daisy nods with an uncharacteristic enthusiasm, an abrupt departure from their usual grace. The wizard? The Wither! The Wither from Minecraft! It'll be fine. Moonrock is as durable as bedrock. At least I think. So I don't know about that. Not this moon. Not this moon that's exploded already. Her opinion was not shared by her peers. I'm only an experimental model. Right. Violet's voice for a moment turned gentler. The hard edges of her skepticism softened. She respects Dr. Rain deeply. Oh, then we're fucked. Yeah, you think? Rest in peace to Violet and Rose, truly. The conversation continues on like this for a while. It's a strange reversal of roles. Daisy answers sound far more human than Violet's curt, diagnostic questioning. It's only when Violet can't speak around her yawns that she finally throws in the towel. Wake me up in an hour, alright? I just need a bit of a pick-me-up, then you can rest. Rose nods, tempted to let her sleep for at least 2, but knowing the fight after won't be worth it. Not one to waste time, Violet is out within a minute after she secures herself to a tether. The area ahead has started to deteriorate, bits of lunar debris floating through the space in front of them, slowing the cart down to withstand the impact of particularly large pieces of tedious... Oh, wait. Slowing the cart down to withstand the impact of particularly large pieces is tedious, but not hard. At some point, Violet had determined that Daisy was unlikely to kill them. Now they sleep in shifts, taking turns navigating and watching Daisy. When it's just the two of them, Daisy's company is unnerving. Rose is aware of their gaze on her, even more aware of the fact that they can see her own furtive glances. They seem content just to watch her work, only interjecting with the occasional question. How long have the two of you been here? Just over 11 months, give or take. Didn't Violet already tell you? Yes. Did you think she was lying? No. Did you want to see if I would lie? No, I did not believe you would. Rose doesn't know how an artificial intelligence should act, but she imagined it would be more direct, or at least easier to read than Violet. Instead, every other seemingly straightforward statement from Daisy leaves her with more questions than answers. Before us, what did you do? Hibernate. With the moon damaged, maintaining a constant level of consciousness for 2 people would be an overextension of my abilities. The power for my operation was better conserved for other uses. And before that, I saved lives. They say this so casually that Rose has to bite back a laugh. Did I say something strange? No, it's just nothing. I did save lives. Protection was my primary function. Dr. Rain did not want anyone exploring the moon to die. It was unexplored territory. No one knew what to expect. I can create pockets of pressure and air to ensure that if someone is exposed to the moon's atmosphere, they will not die. You can let people go out into space without protection? Not for very long, and not very often. It's a level of science fiction that Rose finds hard to respond to. She opts for an awkward nod instead, returning to her work. What are you holding? Rose angles the object towards Daisy, revealing an exposed panel of switches, over-soldered spots, and a small joystick. The once shiny surface is now smeared with dust, barely able to reflect the dim light. It's a decommissioned rover console. Violet and I found it in one of the abandoned control rooms. They're pretty common and fairly reliable for salvageable parts. Since we're not sure exactly what we'll need down there, I brought it along to work on during the trip. She trails off as Daisy tilts their head. She holds it closer to their face, turning it around to help them get a good look. These have not changed significantly since I was constructed. The main difference is that this model has implemented long-distance communication. That used to be quite a feat, yet another groundbreaking accomplishment by Dr. Rain. She is... a pause. Apologies. She was going to change the world. You know she... Yes, you have no cause for concern. Dr. Rain's status is a variable that has resisted overwrite attempts. That's rather clinical. Daisy blinks. What have you found so far? Rose shrugs, her hands returning to fiddle with the panel. Not much. Most of this seems fried, but the joystick is functional enough, which is actually useful. A lot of the joysticks we've gone through have had their tops fall off, so they're a bit painful to use. That seems annoying. It is. Daisy is an AI robot, whatever, artificial and inhuman. Their purpose is to summarize and diagnose. Nothing a minor annoyance seems outside their realm of jurisdiction. Rose dislodges the joystick from the rest of the module. As the console beeps, there's a piece of debris up ahead, large enough to dent the cart at its current speed. Her fingers thumb along the thinly engraved markings of the dashboard, pausing to turn the dial that dictates the rail's magnetic strength. The ridges of the side warm her fingers through her glove. There's something gnawing at the back of her head. It's like when you just notice that you have something stuck between your teeth, but you can't get it out. It's like when you're trying to remember the tune of a catchy song. It's like when you're trying to call after someone, but you don't remember their name, and you've known them too long to ask. It's a nearly unbearable itch. It isn't exactly pain. It's just unpleasant enough to make her feel like she's losing her mind. Once you hit a certain age, you start having little meaningless pains. Back pain from a lifetime of bad posture, wrist pain from gripping a pen too hard. These things are normal. In Rose's case, her chest has felt sore. That's normal. She'd struggle to articulate it if someone asked. Not that she needs to. The feeling is so familiar that she forgets about it most of the time. But it's still weird, right? Feeling something your entire life and not being able to articulate it. She puts the module onto a magnetic clip on her belt, nursing her chest with a freak hand. They can't spare pain medication on something as minor as this, but... Please, can it all just... Rose? Can be quiet for a second? You look upset. What is on your mind? She's in high school. She tries to run away. She's counting out soda-stained bills for the sleepy bellboy in the hotel 7 blocks the road. He doesn't double-check when she slides them over, just nods and hands her a key with a tag that reads R202. Not them questioning how a bot functions. I mean, they're good questions. She opens the door, smells sterile plastic so strong she can taste it, finds herself regretting it. A week's worth of pay for this? The television is on. She can't focus on what's playing. She dumps her belongings in the space between the bed and the wall, piles unfinished papers on the desk. As she sits down, Rose is aware of how lame this is. Running away from home, spending money to do homework. Not that that was her plan for the entire night, but, well, Rose doesn't mind schoolwork. Questions have answers. It's a consistency that she finds hard to come across in the real world. Most importantly, these papers don't ask anything from her. Equations will exist regardless of her input. Balloons of equal mass M and equal charge Q don't care how she dresses, how she stumbles when she speaks. Inputs have reliable outputs. She can sit there, chewing at the end of her pencil, blissfully removed from everything else going on. Daisy walks through the door, gently closing it behind them. Daisy's feet are firm on the ground. Tile squeaks on the rug as they leave behind them. Their usual grace, has been traded for confidence. Their steps measured, lab coat fluttering behind them, they push their bangs back to meet Rose's gaze. I see you've already started. Good job. There's a new, filling warmth to their voice. Rose nods, tentatively. Nervousness spills into her chest as Daisy comes closer, plainly sizing Rose up. But there is no judgment in their gaze. Nothing to make Rose feel small, only curiosity. Brother should help you fix your computer. Good luck fixing your computer. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully you guys are able to get it fixed up. So why is Daisy in our memories, actually? Do you mind sitting over there? This will only take a moment. They motion at the bed. Their hair falls in front of their face, a veil that only makes them seem more magical, more out of place in this cheap hotel room. Again, Rose nods, obeying and sitting hesitantly at the end of the bed. Daisy moves in closer, lab coat dress trailing behind them, and they embrace her. The motion is sudden, all pretense lost as Daisy's hands find her waist. Rose's heart sticks deep in her chest as Daisy's hands explore every corner of her skin. Daisy is careful not to overstay their welcome, not to touch those most sensitive parts. Daisy? Oh, sorry, is this unpleasant? Daisy leans back. Rose realizes that she's collapsed onto the bed, her back pressed against the fabric tables as Daisy stands at the end. She swallows. Wishes Daisy would what? There's a space documentary humming in the background. Conversations rock back and forth about Nova's founding, its accomplishments, its internal politics, because of course there's politics. All the lighting of the room's got is the CRT and a dollar store lamp. The changing screen casts dancing colors on the side of Daisy's face. You seem a little confused. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. These are just routine diagnostics. It's okay, let me help you. And they reach towards her. Through her. Into her. Oh, that's strange. Daisy would. Not me, I'm a dude, sorry. This is fair. From Rose's perspective, Rose would agree. Rose doesn't need to think. Rose doesn't need to think about her body, about Violet, about her body, about yeah. Rose, the dream ends. Rose wakes up to several painful reminders. Her hand is still empty, and bras still itch when you haven't changed out of them for a good 2 days. Violet's hands are on the console. She glances away from Rose once she sees that Rose is fully awake. Daisy keeps their eyes on her, straining against the bindings around her neck. Rose realizes that someone's attached her to the tethers in the back at some point. She tries to push the dream out of her mind. Oh, sorry. Did I? It's fine. It's on me for keeping you up for too long. She doesn't seem mad or even particularly disappointed, just tired, stressed. That doesn't make Rose feel any less guilty, though, and she hurries to undo her tethers under Daisy's watchful gaze. She nods awkwardly at them, unsure of what constitutes a normal greeting. They nod back. What's normal in this situation? She knows her brain is capable of weird things in weird situations, but for it to retroactively insert Daisy into a memory, a thick and lovely dream that's never happened before, even with... She shakes her head, trying to focus. How long was I? 4 hours, just about. We were talking. Violet is quite... It was talking. I was working. And you were... For a moment, Rose thinks that Violet's annoyed at her. Violet's fingers twitching against the control panel, and the way she won't meet Rose's gaze certainly seems to suggest that something is off, and Rose had slept for 4 hours. Maybe a little scolding was in order here. But Violet leans forward, and Rose catches the hitch in her breath. Something is wrong. Violet? Can you look at me? A pause. Violet looks past Rose's shoulder. Rose doesn't need to turn around to know that there's nothing there. Everything all right? You seem out of it. She's never seen Violet so distracted before. Violet's breathing stutters, then steadies. Rose can practically see her counting in her head. 1, 2, 3, 5. Again. Violet pinches her eyes shut. After the moment passes, and she opens them, she manages to focus on Rose's face. Are you all right? Violet scowls. I was just... She cuts herself off, looks away like she's been burned. I'm just tired. Guess there's a reason they tell you to get enough sleep in school. You're in space! Yes! Welcome in, Bricky. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Just doze off for a bit there. Sorry. I feel like Daisy is playing with our dreams, and Violet also had a strange dream, kind of similar to what we had. And now things are awkward. Then, as if it had never happened, Violet pulls herself up and gives herself a light slap on the cheeks. Back to work it is. Violet wouldn't have cut herself off before. She would have told Rose what she was thinking about. Rose tries not to think about it. The things she gave up. She tries to inject as much enthusiasm into her voice as possible, but Violet has already turned back to the controls. Rose brushes her hand over the top of Violet's chair when her back is turned. She feels Daisy's eyes on them. Violet is a paranoid person. This keeps Rose and her alive, so Rose doesn't complain. Her vigilance has prevented the walls caving in from weak windows and collapsing rubble. In fact, the way she questions everything is something Rose has come to find comforting. Violet needs to know everything. That's why Violet warming up to Daisy is strange. Rose goes to sleep and wakes up twice, and each time Violet seems a little closer to Daisy. The second go around, she's actually smiling. It makes Rose do a double take, just to make sure she isn't seeing things. Of course, Rose isn't against it. Seeing Violet look up from her work every once in a while is nice, and Rose has never been one for jealousy. But the circumstances give her pause. If Violet finds comfort in Daisy's presence, though, then Rose is happy for it. Violet. What is the material in your pocket? Violet stills mid-interrogation. Her questions have become less pointed. Violet getting hypnotized by the robo for real, for real. No, truly, we're both down bad for this robot, apparently. Just odds and ends. Scrap. just in case we need the extra material to work with. Can I see? They lean forward as they ask the question, head craned. Violet has grown comfortable enough to Daisy that they only need to pull an inch or so against their restraints to gain a proper vantage point. But now, Violet's hands are a flurry of movement, desperately trying to create space between her and Daisy. It has the opposite effect. The contents of her pocket come spilling out, floating innocently in midair. A few spare bolts, a magnetic screwdriver, small enough to fit into the palm of your hand. Rose's bunny. Rose shakes her head, blinks. It's still there, though Violet is quick to snatch it out of the air. Her gaze darts from Daisy to Rose and back again. That's so sentimental. That's so cute. Nothing. Nothing. It seems to have been constructed with intent. I have been able to ascertain the purpose of everything else in the cabin, but not that. That is why I asked. I made it. Rose can't help it. She's excited. A little flattered, even, that Violet hasn't thrown the trinket away. Sure, there's a chance that Violet just forgot it was in her pocket, but maybe... So it is, indeed, not nothing. Was it a gift? Gifts are an expression of gratitude, Violet. Violet flushes, bristling at Daisy's informative tone.
NANI?
Ricky, we made that earlier at the start of the game, and Violet said, "What are you doing wasting materials?" And then she kept it, because it was so us. I was going to repurpose it. I just forgot I had it, given everything. Daisy frowns. That does not seem... It's none of your business, alright? Violet yanks the bunny out of her pocket again, clutching it in her fist. For a moment, it looks as if she's about to crush it. But she doesn't. Her fingers uncurl. Violet? The bunny floats out of Violet's hands, unharmed. But Rose doesn't feel relieved. Violet isn't looking at Rose. She isn't looking at anything. Rose waves her hand in front of Violet's face, but she doesn't respond. Her expression has evened out, eyes half-lidded and mouth gently parted. She looks peaceful, like she's sleeping. This is scary. Violet, speak to me, okay? She puts her hands on Violet's shoulder. When Violet doesn't react, she shakes Violet. And when that doesn't get a reaction, she shakes her harder. Right before Rose is about to take more drastic measures, Violet shakes her head like she's hungover. Her expression drowsy and movement slow. Rose? But Confusion, realization, resignation. Hostility returns to Violet's gaze. It seems to have a home there. She scoffs, shooting a glare at Daisy. Did you? She hesitates, massages her temples. Whatever question she had planned, she decides to let it lie, for now. Did Daisy cast calm emotion? What is this? Are you feeling alright? Mind your business. She directs the comment at Daisy, but her expression is fierce enough to make Rose feel guilty too. Violet tightens up Daisy's restraints. The tethers are tight enough to leave red marks on Daisy's skin-like surface. The guilt weighs heavier on Rose. Later, Rose tries to look for the bunny. She can't find it. Well, I hope that's not foreshadowing of anything. It's almost 48 hours into knowing Daisy before they make their first tangible request. Would you move my hands in front of me? Their wrists, strung together with wire and tethers, have been pulled firmly behind them and hooked onto the back of the passenger seat. They wiggle their hands gracefully somehow. Violet clicks her tongue. Is it hurting you? No, the sensors that cover my body run constant diagnostics, so pain is not a necessary feedback mechanism. I want to be able to hold things. Hold things? Like what? That, for example. They incline their head towards one of the numerous tools stored in the cart. A plier. A plier-like contraption used to crush particularly stubborn pieces of rock. It's yet another relic from when the rail cart was still being used to explore the moon, ensuring that occupants could proceed through the then fragile tunnels without issue. Violet had elected to keep it around as a safety precaution, but they've been fortunate enough not to need it yet. We're not giving you something that could crush our skulls. I will not crush your skulls. Violet turns over. She's cleaning herself in a corner of the rail cart using dry soap on the underside of her arms. Rose is grateful she's been trapped up here with someone who actually cares about hygiene. We don't have to give them the pliers, but surely just moving their hands is okay? Fine. Still, Violet glances at Rose when she carefully unties Daisy's wrists. Rose holds them firmly, but there's no need. Daisy is compliant and limp in her grasp. While Rose had held Daisy beforehand when securing them, she had been too full of adrenaline to properly register how their skin felt. It is only now, as she holds both their wrists between her fingers, that she becomes intimately aware of the feeling of wires under silicone, so close to veins under skin. At least, she thinks it's silicone and wires. As she reties their hands, she is struck by the uncanniness of their texture. Whatever the material, it's certainly not skin, but it is a close approximation. It feels almost human. Her hands rest on theirs, and she finds it comforting. It must be hard. Rose startles, her eye snapping to Daisy. Violet, too, has jerked her head up, her arm aloft in a mid-scrub. What is? Do you not get homesick? Where did you get that idea? Daisy tilts their head, as if deliberating. When someone is away from something for a long time, do you not miss it? Do you feel homesick? Well, of course it isn't great, and sure, it's stressful. Violet puts away her soap, pauses. She looks thoughtful, like she's seriously considering Daisy's question. But I'd say homesickness is the least of our worries. The moon itself is fine. There's a reason we studied hard to come here. We care about preserving it. Preserving your creator's technology. It's the circumstances that have us trapped here that make things suck. It's like she clamps her own mouth shut with an audible click of her teeth, turning to Daisy, then huffing. She looks away. Rose doesn't get it. So you two love the moon. That's admirable. It must be admirable. To care for an inhospitable environment that fails to care for you. Their hands clasped together as if in prayer. It isn't that deep. It's not that the moon fails to care for us. It's just a place. There's nothing to take personally. It can't love me. It can't hate me. It just exists. But you prefer Earth. Violet shrugs. Sure, if I had to choose. Like, just for example, you can't really eat cup ramen in 0G. Not that there's even any up here in the first place. Violet's face goes a little red. I would also miss cup ramen, actually. They're going to preserve the DNA of that robot's creator by fertilizing it. I don't think we have DNA of the creator. Yum, cup ramen. I love ramen. It's so good. I might actually have ramen for dinner after stream. I've already had dinner, but I might have a second dinner. I might hobbit it. Actually, the salad I ate for dinner was probably more technically lunch, because my lunch was technically breakfast. So, when I put it like that, I might have ramen after stream. Is she embarrassed about the example she chose? Nothing to be embarrassed about cup ramen. Rose misses the cup ramen too. It reminds her of late nights back at the center, back at Earth. The frustrating, desperately long simulations, the hours spent underwater in the buoyancy lab. Both of them shivering. Violet leaning into the warm steam from the styrofoam cup. Toweling off, averting her eyes from Violet as she peels off her suit. Rose would do a lot to taste that ramen again. And I did see Rose's color palette was basically the sunset lesbian flag. I see you, girl. Cup ramen. Did I see Daisy's expression shift just now? Or did I just imagine it? So if you could eat cup ramen on the moon, You would prefer it over Earth? It was just an example. Look. Violet turns to face Daisy properly. It isn't that deep. The moon just isn't my home. That's all. Violet, having finished cleaning herself up, goes back to tinkering with the controls. Daisy's gaze turns to Rose. And you? And me? Is the moon your home? Or is there something that needs to change first? Well, I do like the moon. It's pretty. I've always thought it was... And? And? Daisy's head tilts the other way. You are hesitating. What disappoints you about the moon? I will not judge. I am simply curious. She's never really liked the smell. Everything else she could and had learned to live with, how her hands stung when she over-sanitized, a frequent occurrence, how the food was tasteless at best and clung to her teeth, even how incredibly tedious it was to go to the bathroom. But she's never gotten used to the smell. Sterile and itchy in her nose. The moon smells like a doctor's office, artificial and empty. Not that the satellite smelled much better. She'd take any scent from Earth at this point. Coffee shops and garbage bins alike would be a luxury. Anything but the chemical, near vomit-inducing sameness. If you had to choose, what would I want to smell? Something that is indisputably Earth. School fields smell like dirt. They smell like grass, too, but most of the time it's too hot or too cold, and the grass would just die, painting the ground a shriveling, scentless yellow. But dirt is reliable. When Rose was little, she thought brown sugar and dirt were the same stuff. She'd shoveled some dirt into her mouth the first chance she'd gotten when her parents' backs were turned, coughing out pebbles just as quickly as she'd stuffed them in there. In her defense, it seemed a worthwhile experiment. If it really was all the same, she'd be surrounded by a near infinite supply of treats. You should not have done that. She hasn't tried it since she was a child, yet they scold her as if it was something she'd done mere moments beforehand. Rose tips her head sheepishly, chuckling. Lesson learned. There's a security camera aimed at the field, sure, but Rose knows the blind spots. Everyone at school does. Every other week there's another announcement crackling over the intercoms because someone didn't clean up a Johnny after using it. Whatever that means, sure. Daisy sighs like a disappointed parent, hands clasped behind their back as they walk a step ahead of Rose. Their serious expression doesn't suit them. Rose has to stifle another laugh. What actually suits Daisy? It's not as if Rose would know. What do you think? Pardon? Daisy gestures at the baseball field. It's late at night, lit like Rose is in a movie. Everything shrouded in an unreal blue light instead of disappearing under the cover of darkness. A garden. Nice, isn't it? You've only seen in pictures. How do you like it? Rose finds it hard to believe that anyone would call this a garden, but she chalks it up to Daisy's limited world experience. It's a nice gesture, regardless, so the least she can do is breathe in deeply and... Oh, it really does smell like flowers. Daisy's steps have widened. They're making their way to the center of the field, where the pitcher usually stands. Rose hangs back, unsure if she's meant to follow. Daisy gives no indication one way or the other. They stand there with their back turned, hair drifting in the windless air. They're framed by the moon, spotlit by its light. Rose is struck by how lovely they look. Their perfect, otherworldly grace. They look so comfortable standing there in the dusty, barren field. They look like they belong there more than Rose ever did. An ugly feeling rises in her throat at the thought. I only wish that you could see this during the day. The moon is beautiful, but it is not... You'll be up there soon enough. I want you to see as much of the sun as you can while you still have the chance. Am I going to die? They tilt their head to look at the moon, sighing. Eventually. No system lasts forever. Don't worry, I will die first. You can die? You are right. There are better words to use. Can you come here? They say, their backs still turned, though neither of them have had to raise their voices to be heard. The space between them yawns and aches. Rose starts running towards Daisy, feet thudding against the ground. Grass tickles her ankles and the night air stings her face. Her hair whips against her skin. The painful distance between them refuses to close. Daisy! It's only when Daisy turns that Rose suddenly finds herself mere feet away. Their eyes meet, and Daisy takes an unexpected step forward. Rose tries to stop, desperately trying to find purchase on the ground, but gravity is against her. She stumbles over wet grass and tumbles headfirst into Daisy. They yelp as she hurtles into them, the field crashing into their backs. The dirt is as shock against Rose's skin, colder than anything she's felt on the moon. For a moment, she's too aware of the beating in her chest. The ground has scraped her knees. She rolls over. Daisy's breathless beneath her. Which is odd. Daisy doesn't breathe. Rose remembers Violet asking in a faraway dream, a distant memory. This is not... They pause, frowning, before their expression returns to a neutral smile. It seems you've gotten my dress dirty. Raging, welcome in! This is Lesbians on the Moon. I think... So this is... There is an artificial intelligence, and I think she's messing with our heads. And this is probably what she was doing to Violet when Violet seemed to go unresponsive earlier. So we're probably just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing, and Violet's like, what the fuck is going on? But she knows what's going on. Lesbians on the Moon now? Raging, where the fuck have you been? They have always owned the moon. They let Sokka borrow the moon for a little bit in Avatar The Last Airbender, but lesbians have always owned the moon. The confusion passes. Rose sweeps herself away, laughing. Who wears a dress out in the dirt? Many people do. You do. Though you do not seem to like it. Ah. Rose scratches the back of her head. Well, you know me. Never grew out of being a tomboy, I guess. She forces a weak laugh. For a moment, the moon is unbearably bright. Every hidden part of her is exposed, laid bare to the world. Her knees burn in the cool night air. Daisy is looking at her. Daisy is looking through her. Do you feel like a tomboy? I was just thinking. A dress must feel different when you choose to wear it. Yes. Daisy nods, letting Rose sidestep the question. Rose breathes. She feels the thrum of her telltale heart. Sokka is one of the few people who could get a lesbian to fall in love with him. You know, I could see that. I was about to say I thought Sokka had dibs. I mean, does he really have dibs when Suki exists? And also, Zuko? Like, Sokka's greedy enough as it is, with the baddie Kyoshi warrior and Zuko. Like, girl, leave somebody for the rest of us. Raging, they'd be too lonely on space, and there is a hot, sexy, toy-looking rowboat. They are trying to fertilize for some reason. And Ty Sokka, and Zuko has Mei as well, the goth baddie. Those are the two greediest bitches I've ever seen on the planet, truly. I love them. I can't wait to watch the movie. Okay. If you want to be called that, you can be called that. But you want to like wearing dresses, like me. Rose stares at the sky. Dresses have always felt so heavy on me. A company event with politicians and cameras and too many eyes, bile rising in her throat, a flash of pure white in the crowd. But yours, you wear it like it weighs nothing at all. Do you like it? Your dress? Or do you just wear it because you can't imagine not wearing it? Because you've been wearing it your whole life? Because you don't know what you'll be without it? Because you don't know what's underneath? Because you feel like you can't take it off? Daisy hums, considering. I can move freely in my dress. I do not feel its weight. And they smile at Rose. I like the way it feels on my legs. I know what is under my dress, and I can take it off whenever I choose. My knowledge base indicates that humans find nudity uncomfortable outside of certain contexts. You could consider it a professional courtesy. Daisy's smile turns conspiratorial, like they're in on the same secret. Would you like to see what is underneath? Oh, no, that's not what I. Daisy laughs, not unkindly. To answer your question, yes, I do like it. And you want to like it too. You can choose. Rose swallows. Daisy doesn't push the matter further. Daisy has so many smiles. Rose can't read the one on their face now. Enigmatic, almost melancholy. What? Nothing. You reminded me. You are the second person to ask if I like wearing my dress. Rose opens her mouth to ask who the first person was. The answer shivers through her. She can't speak. Daisy taps Rose's leg. Shall we get up? Right. Rose stands up, quickly stepping back to put space between them, but she's held back by a tug on her waist. She looks down. Daisy's hair is caught in her belt, strands tangled into a dust bunny, no longer the ethereal thing their hair should be. Shame blooms on Rose's chest. She pulls away. That just makes it worse. She's painfully aware of Daisy watching her. Ugh, I'm sorry. She tugs frantically. It must hurt Daisy, but all they do is place a comforting hand over hers. I used to say I have that much game. Is it really that she has game, or is she playing her therapist and she's they're the first person to understand us? Hey, you're fine. You're doing fine, Daisy. Hey! Violet's grabbing her shoulders, shaking her awake. Rose blinks blearily into focus. The dream slips away like sand. Rose, you... Okay, alright. She's threading her hands through her bangs, clearly trying to steady her breathing. This wasn't a dream, right? I mean, you saw something just now, weren't you? There's been something ever since you... She clamps her mouth shut, gesturing wordlessly. It takes Rose a moment to register what she means. By the time Rose manages to nod, Violet has spun away from her to approach Daisy, who looks at them mildly. Innocent Daisy. Since you showed up, we keep drifting off like this, daydreaming. That's your fault, isn't it? Yes, it is. Don't you dare try to... She stumbles, trying to reorient herself, clearly unprepared for Daisy to accept the allegations without protest. So you are doing this. You admit it? Guiding individuals to introspection to improve their mental state is one of my many beneficial functions. Though some unexpected errors occurred while assisting Rose just now. Apologies. Daisy tucks their bound hands under their chin in something resembling a thoughtful gesture. Violet looks like she might explode. Beneficial? You think distracting us in a life or death situation is beneficial? She punctuates her outrage with a wide, sweeping gesture. Rose, still groggy, watches the exchange with numb fascination. Surely you realize how dangerous that is. Rose was just keeping watch, but what if her hands had been resting on the wrong lever? She slips into one of your daydreams and bam! She snaps her fingers. She unseals the door and we're all dead. There are safety measures in place to ensure such an incident would never occur. Yeah? Safety measures? Your safety measures? You just admitted that. Violet closes her eyes, her chest heaving as she struggles to calm herself down. Daisy watches her, patiently. I don't want you messing with my head, so stop it. Thank you for informing me of your preferences. I will be sure to take your feedback into account when determining how to best assist you. This does little to soothe Violet. Rose intercedes before Violet lunges at them, placing a steadying hand on her arm. Violet, it's all right. Just take a breath, okay? Violet gives her a searching look. After a moment, she lets out a long sigh, an ounce of tension finally leaving her shoulders. These things happen with experimental software. We've been through worse up here. Remember the incident with the food recycler? What we need is more important than a minor blip. We need food to live, and Daisy to diagnose whatever is going on with the heart. Violet's disgruntled expression remains, but she breathes out another sigh. This is the best Rose is going to get. Alright, but I don't want this happening again, understand? She directs this towards Daisy. Their fingers intertwine as they nod. If that is what you prefer. They sit calmly in the passenger's chair. Compared to Violet's barely suppressed turmoil, they are the picture of serenity. Right. They're a little over 1,600 kilometers into their journey when the rail cart can't continue anymore. The tracks have warped, not beyond repair, but certainly beyond use. The magnetic clamp strains to gain a foothold before giving up entirely, costing them precious minutes as they reconfigure the system to get moving again. It's probably best that we don't push it much further. If we do, we run the risk of not being able to start it up again. We don't stand a chance of making it back without it. Rose appreciates her optimism. Leaving the cart means removing Daisy from their constraints. Not that they had been of any use anyhow. Violet clicks her tongue, annoyed but doesn't say anything as Rose unties. Hello? As Rose unties Daisy, Rose can see the "I told you so" in her eyes. Daisy wrings the tension out of their wrists. You said you don't feel pain, right? I do not. They flick their wrist one more time before letting them rest at their side. Their skirt, finally freed from the wires, billows out around them. It looks right, the way a wilted flower finally given water does. Leaving the cart means donning their suits. Rose pulls them out of their containers, handing Violet hers and receiving a curt nod in return. Daisy peers as Rose changes, but doesn't comment. Hey, give her room. It's fine. They're just curious, right? Okay. Something shifts in Violet's expression. She turns away. As they finish, Daisy clasps their hands together. They lean over in the air, letting the lack of gravity turn them. It is good to see that these remain in proper shape. May I voice a concern? Violet frowns, pulling her sleeve down. Of course. Daisy drifts closer, gaze tracking over Rose's suit. Rose, your suit does not fit you. Did something tear? No, it is in perfect condition. Violet scowls. They were sized and custom made for us, so it should fit her fine. Daisy's finger traces over the rim of Rose's skirt. Rose swallows. Her finger retracts. It is not life-threatening, merely an observation. Violet sighs, but she looks at Rose's suit with new concern. How do you feel? She's not just asking about the suit. It's alright. That's because our suit is a dress. Is it too loose? Too tight? She moves closer. Rose can see her expression shift into engineer mode, like she's trying to find a fault in Rose's wiring, and she reaches absently for Rose's shoulders, patting them down, checking for clearance and interference fit. At her touch, Rose is immediately alive, aflame. Violet looks up, meets Rose's gaze, and there's something in her eyes for a fleeting moment. Rose moves back immediately, burned, and looks away. Boiling kettle. Here's the stovetop. Rose isn't the quick study Violet is, but she's finally starting to learn not to touch. I'm just aware of it, that's all. It's not a big deal, I can live with it. Let's go. Rose doesn't see the hurt that flickers across Violet's face, the real and sudden regret, but Daisy does. Yeah. Is Daisy gonna help us get together and get over our miscommunication? Violet clicks on the radio in her helmet as she turns towards the door. Before they step outside, they hold down one of the buttons on the side of the suits. It takes a few sputtering seconds, but the rockets under her feet start up. At this depth, if there isn't something holding the two of them back from the pressure, they'd likely crumble under the weight. Rose grips the side of the cart to stay stable. Violet follows her, one hand braced against the door. Ready? Mm-hmm. Rose looks at Violet's reflection through the inch-thick glass of the door's window. It nods at her and pulls back the door. There's a moment of stubborn reluctance from the door before it finally gives way. The pressurization seal breaks with a telltale hiss of escaping air. An unpleasant whir spills through as the door grinds against the cart. Accumulated lunar dust on the outside frame sweeps inside. The door yawns open. It's so quiet. With the rail cart stopped as the heart broken, the tunnel is deafeningly silent. All that's left is a gaping maw of darkness beyond the threshold of the cart. The terror of the situation comes back to Rose. Off we go then. Violet hesitates. Rose opens her mouth to say something, but Daisy speaks first. You require my guidance. They float forward with a smile. Their dress billows out behind them, unfettered by the clunky suits that cover every inch of Rose and Violet. Violet sighs in annoyance, a harsh rasp in Rose's in-ear radio, and pulls herself through the door. Rose follows. The path ahead is somehow darker than the sky that greeted Rose outside the satellite. Illuminated by neither the heart nor the rail cart's headlights, the inky darkness is broken only by the occasional flicker of damaged battery-powered bulbs and the flashlights attached to their suits. Even those feel more like a handicap with the shadows they cast, pulling at Rose's imagination. Beyond the few feet of visibility they manage to fight for, everything around them gets swallowed whole. With their senses limited, it's hard for Rose to discern how narrow the tunnel actually is. All she can feel under her hand is the weave of lunar stone and wire that makes up the wall. All she can see are the faint forms of Violet's suit and Daisy's silhouette. All she can hear is Daisy's murmured instructions, Violet's tense questions. For all Rose knows, the rest of the space around her could be a cavernous expanse reaching far above her. Sometimes, with only moments to spare, she catches her leg before it slams into the skeletal remains of some long-dormant excavation tool. They fall into an uneasy rhythm. Violet will issue a sharp warning, and Rose's rocket will thrum, hoisting her high above the object until any chance of contact is long gone. Everything connected to Rose obeys Violet, unthinkingly. With the intense pressure crushing down on them from all sides, a careless bump could be something far more serious. They're not in the satellite anymore. It continues on like this for what feels like forever. Every flicker of light from their suits brings another wave of shadows dancing along the tunnel. Every narrowly missed accident throws her into another fit of anxiety. Rose swallows hard. She thought she didn't mind being alone. She realizes that she never properly understood what that word meant. Just keep your eyes on Violet's back. Violet's back is solid. Rose traces the edge of it with her eyes. Blue and firm and solid. It's the only steady thing in her vision, but even Violet isn't safe from the shadows. Daisy's silhouette is the only thing unaffected. They float a few feet ahead of Violet, guiding them ever closer to the heart. They don't glow, exactly, but their sheet skin seems immune to the tricks of the tunnel. They move through the oppressive quiet with effortless grace. In a void that feels surreal enough to be hostile, Daisy is an exception. Violet's working hard to protect them. To protect her. If Violet wasn't there, there's no way Rose would be. Not a chance. They don't let people like Rose up here easily. She's smart, sure, but there are plenty of people who are smart. There are plenty of people who don't get lost in their own dreams, and people who aren't so fallible. Violet's textbook perfect. Anxious, maybe, but even her anxiety is by the books. The realization hits Rose with new clarity. They've been drifting out here for nearly a year, and the entire time Violet has been keeping them both alive. She is the solid ground beneath Rose's feet, and she is the oxygen burn. She is the impossible gravity. She could do this all on her own. She doesn't need Rose's help. She doesn't need anyone. Her retreating back speaks for itself. That's probably why... Rose? Rose blinks. Violet's still moving ahead, but Daisy has turned back. Or have they? She can't tell. Daisy is the clearest thing in Rose's vision. They're sitting in one of the school's stairwells, feet bare against the uneven linoleum tiles. This is Earth, but their dress still floats, forever beyond the pull of gravity. Daisy is pretty. Rose lets herself think that, without trying to force the thought out of her head. You had something you wanted to ask me? Oh, yeah, she didn't she? Sort of. Her brain skitters through thoughts as she tries to land on something appropriate. Are you free tonight? I am free every night, but I appreciate that you can make jokes. My influence, no doubt. They smile, a noise resembling a laugh tickling their lips. Rose doesn't think she's ever heard Daisy make a joke, at least, not intentionally. Sorry, Rose's hands fiddle with a string-worn friendship bracelet, the sort you can either make yourself or buy overpriced on the web. Self-consciousness washes over her. It's hard to find the right words, I guess. I know what I want to say, but It is all right. I understand. You do? Of course. I understand everything about you. Daisy blinks. Their expression doesn't change. Rose, I see how you look at me. They say it so kindly. They're trying to spare Rose's feelings. It makes her blush like the high schooler. High schooler? How old are high schoolers these days? She is. Oh, well, it is all right. There is nothing to be ashamed of. What you are feeling is not abnormal. What am I feeling? If the answer to that is anxiety, Rose is already well aware. She may feel guilty over a multitude of things that she probably shouldn't, but her anxiety isn't one of them. But Daisy has a different answer. Jealousy. When someone makes you want something you do not think you can have. When someone makes you want to be something you do not think you can be. When someone makes you want to not be alone. They pause. Rose reels. But if I am wrong, all you have to do is tell me. I do not mind. I would prefer it, actually. Because it would be said if I was right. It would be painful. Rose can't speak. The second she starts talking, she won't be able to stop herself. But it's weird, right? To want something from someone so different from you. Daisy is not human. Daisy is inhuman. Even if Daisy is every bit as perfect as the moon, they cannot and can never be human. Even if a human is every bit as flawed as the moon, they cannot and can never be Daisy. Rose's hands rise towards her chest. It is all right. They reach out a hand. Their fingers seem indecisive about their own state, transparency crawling further up their arm before extending all the way back again. It flickers. Rose does not take their hand. I can sympathize. I wanted many things for my creator. Their arms seem to flicker. But is human. You are human. Humans underestimate their own potential. You think what you want will be forever out of your reach. You think you do not deserve your own desire. You think it would be selfish to want anything more than what you have. You think, for you, it would be like defying gravity. You think you are bound by your humanity, but the fact of your flesh. You are resigned to your fate. Daisy smiles sadly. Then, and for a moment, Rose sees them with new eyes. She sees them hunched over a cluttered workbench, sweeping hair out of their face, shrugging off their lab coat. They look so tired, so fond. Humans are capable of so much change, but you think you do not have what it takes, that you will never make it there. You think you are a burden. You think putting a name to your desire will make it real. They stare out the window, their face aglow with moonlight. Here we are. Give it a name. Tell me, what are you afraid of? That is okay. The scenery around Rose twists, from a school stairwell to the steps leading into a machine and back again. It is scary. It is different. To say goodbye to something that was a part of you. You were scared the first time you left gravity behind. It changed you. You felt the burden of your own body, not for the first time, but it was the first time you let yourself feel it. And if you liked it, if you wanted to stay that way, even if it could be for the best, I might. Daisy's face is blank. Rose can feel the ground shake against her feet. Her neck is pushed back against the momentum of something? Hey! She fights it, reaching out as Daisy's eyes go dark. They look at some place beyond Rose before focusing once more. They hold themselves steady, but when Rose puts a hand on their shoulder, they seem to crumble under the weight of it. This is not your job. Taking care of you? Keeping me company. I am not human. I was designed to be alone, to exist in my own orbit, to provide my own gravity. I will do my job, and then I will cease to exist. Okay. But that's not fair. We need you. And you need us. They close their eyes, shudder beneath her hands. When they open them again, the ground no longer feels like it's rocking. Let me correct this. I'm sorry. Daisy's hands twist in their lap. They rise, towering over Rose in an instant. It is all Rose can do not to shrink away from Daisy's hands on her cheeks. Their fingers are so cold. Rose. Rose's vision splinters. It does not shatter. It splinters into infinitesimal shards. Rose blinks and the shards flutter, winking into the celestial glow. Oh. Each one of them contains a fragment of Daisy's form, a glimpse of their dress, the starkness of their hair, the pulse of her eyes. They dance around Rose in an orbit of potentiality, painting a chaotic constellation that steals her breath away. There are as many daisies as there are stars, each one a different promise, a different end. In one, they are a mother, lullabies encoded in their voice. In another, they are a commander, their figures standing tall against the expanse of nothing. In another, they're Rose's lover. Their touches are intimate, their skin no longer cold and uncanny, but comforting, wrapped around against every fragment of loneliness Rose has ever known. Their forehead presses against hers, and Rose can feel the tears sparkling off their cheeks, the forever smile on their face, and the hitch of their breath, as they kiss her. They're kissing her. Hey, why does she look like Violet? They're kissing her. Violet's kiss. Rose. The illusion breaks and Rose can hear her breath again. Her breath fogs against the glass, hot and heavy and near suffocating. If she was more solid in her own body, maybe she'd be embarrassed about it. For now, all it does is block her vision. Daisy? Violet's voice is an octave higher than usual, ringing through Rose's earpiece. Something's wrong. Rose's shoulders raise, pressure rising as she tries to identify the issue. Infinite tentacle robotime? This might be one of those Japanese cartoons. That's crazy. Overlord, you were right on the money when we said we were gonna fertilize her egg. Whatever that means. The glass clears. Daisy's holding her helmet, their hands gently cupping. Their hands gently cupping the back of her head. Their lips are planted lightly on the frame. Get away from her. Daisy, right now. With a lingering touch, Daisy pulls away. Their hands float to their side, soft and steady. What is it? Violet ignores their confusion, pushing past them. She grips onto Rose's hand fiercely, gaze narrowed as she scans Rose. Rose can feel the grip of her fingers through the suit's padding. Are you okay? What the hell? Did you... Violet, I'm fine. Violet stares at her incredulously. Rose's voice sounds unnatural, even to her own ears, pitched higher than usual. She does feel fine, though. The fuzziness in her head, the stinging around her eyes, those have begun to fade as Daisy's touch grows fainter and fainter. Violet shakes her head. She spins around to Daisy. You promised to stay out of your head. Our heads. She punctuates the phrase by shoving a firm hand into Daisy's chest. It almost goes through them. Daisy floats a few feet back as Violet advances. Rose remembers, suddenly, the way Violet defended her back at the center, when they were 2 recruits out of 100, and her entire body drawn tight with precise fury. She realizes Violet has positioned herself between Daisy and her, physically shielding her. I said the first sign of trouble and you're making Rose lose her damn mind. Out here. One wrong move and she could... How could you even pretend this is a good thing? Rose was scared and lonely. And you are too. Violet rubs a hand down Rose's helmet as if to wipe away any trace of Daisy's touch. Under the moon's pressure, the palms of her hand almost hurt. If this was any other time, any other place, any other moment, this would make Rose lose her mind more than any spell Daisy could cast. And her eyes, so full of painful concern. Rose pulls back. They were trying to help. I do feel better. You can't seriously mean that. Rose does mean it. She feels strange, but the tightness in her chest has loosened. The darkness in the tunnel isn't as crushing as it was before. Daisy is here. Violet is here. Rose smiles and pats Violet's hand and as it reaches out for her. That was kind of strange. Yeah, but Daisy's experimental. And old tech if it was Dr. Rain who made you, right? She looks at Daisy. They incline their head towards her. I welcome feedback for any actions you find strange. Violet scoffs. Whatever. If I'm the only one sane enough to realize that making out with our life support system while the moon shuts down around me is a bad idea, then that's fine. I can save our lives by myself. Violet twists out of Rose's hand, heading down the path with newfound determination. Any retort Rose could have had drowns in the bile rising in her throat. Daisy lets Violet pass. I am failing to aid Violet. Huh? Well... Rose watches Violet's back get further and further away. She hugs her arm to her chest. Violet is too far away for her to even think about bridging that distance. She doesn't know what to say to Daisy. She doesn't know how to comfort Daisy. If that is even what Daisy needs. As a space enthusiast... Earth communications and all this, Mission Control would not have approved anything. So I will say, they did say earlier in the game that transmissions that used to take 10 minutes to travel between them and Earth was now taking like 2 to 3 hours. So they sent a thing to communications on Earth, and then they said, all right, let's go. We're not going to wait for a response, because that's going to take all fucking day. And also, they did specifically mention not turning on communications in the little cart they were in. As for the spacesuits, girl, I don't know. I don't actually know that much about the astronaut side of space. I don't know if they have communications in their suits. But I think it's safe to assume it's probably not working. Rose disables her microphone. Violet's protective. In any other situation, she'd be more agreeable. Being up here for so long hasn't been good for her. She should be out somewhere else, taking care of something else. She is lonely, and she is trying to hide it. Yeah, girl. The bluntness of her own inadequacy brings the tightness back to Rose's chest. She swallows. Loneliness aids no one. Daisy turns, following after Violet. She's made a frightening amount of progress in the time the two of them were talking. I do not have a solution. Loneliness is something utterly foreign to me. When Dr. Rain left, sent me up here, I communicated with Earth until I couldn't. It was a simple fact. I could not provide her companionship. Similarly, her absence did not make me. Oh, Daisy's fucking lying. I do not have a solution. They repeat themselves, floating forward. But Violet is correct in that focusing on fixing the heart should be our priority. Their hand hovers above the space in their chest. Oh, hey, wait a fucking minute. Is the heart Daisy's heart? And that's why she doesn't have, she's got that hole in her chest. Rose follows, turning her microphone back on. The path to the core is lighter. Solitary Robo's lying. No way! Oh, who would just lie? In space? People don't lie in space. That's crazy of Daisy. Rose stopped, second-guessing every movement. Violet's instructions become more sparse. Rose can see the chipped plates that line the wall giving way to exposed and colorful wire just as Violet warns her to avoid them. Except in her dreams, Rose has been weightless for the past almost year. Even the tunnel's pressure had pushed in on her from all sides, keeping her afloat. But as the path leading up to the core scatters its light, the mounting pressure crushes her down. It's as though her suit has suddenly remembered it has weight. Her body becomes a heavy anchor that pulls her down, then up, then forward. It feels like she's walking. It's an alien sensation, one she hasn't felt in a long time. She feels like a child again, learning how to take her first shuddering steps forward. Rose, don't push yourself. Violet's strained voice is enough to make Rose aware of her own fervent breathing. She swallows, hums in acknowledgement. Rose has never been to the moon's core. Obviously, she's not a specialist. She's a general maintenance worker, trained to interpret system readings, not to work on the core itself. She's been briefed on theoreticals and emergency situations, sure, but this? She always thought that half a century's worth of engineering genius would never fail. She never even thought it was a real possibility, even with the moon catching a chip off of its skin. She bites her lip as the light is cut into long, searching fingers worming through pieces of debris. Her eyes sting, unused to the sudden light. Careful. Daisy pulls her back just in time for Rose to narrowly avoid a piece of sheet metal. It tumbles past her, nearly twice her height, before slamming into a much smaller piece of lunar rock. The metal crumples in on itself instantly, like paper. Rose swallows. Are you alright? You can't. Be freezing up now. We can't save you every time. Violet is right. Rose wants to move faster, but it's so much harder than it ever was before. Her arms stick against the side of her suit, trapped and sickly against the bulk of the light. She's pushing concrete just to move a finger. Even her tongue feels heavy in her mouth. It's an effort to form words. I can't. Violet sighs through her earpiece. I know. The suits are just pressurizing. We've crossed a certain threshold. It sucks, but we're almost through. Hearing the strain in Violet's own voice brings some kind of comfort to Rose. Rose isn't the only one struggling here. Somehow it makes it a little easier to bear. Before long, the warped track for the cart comes to an end. Half of it remains firmly on the ground while the other stretches and twirls up into the air around the bend at the end of the tunnel, to the core's entrance. The tunnel has shifted, dropping down and then out into the core. They need to float across. This shouldn't be an issue, not in space, but the suits that prevent them from being crushed also threaten to slam them into the ground. Daisy floats across unaffected, hands tucked neatly behind their back like a specter. Traversing the gap is not a problem for Violet. It's like she's skipping over water, catching herself when she falls by timing blasts from her rockets just right. It's elegant, like a dance. She leverages herself against the ends of the warped track. Rose isn't good at dancing. She throws herself forward and nearly falls past where Daisy and Violet rest to the side of the tunnel. She flies towards the edge of a metal railguard and into the abyss that stretches through the bottom of the moon, gaining momentum as the suit's pressurizing system flails. The rockets under her feet whimper, threatening to give out, but Violet catches her. Violet's hands shake with effort as she slides down the track, one hand wrapped around the warped metal tendril and the other pressed against the inside of Rose's arm. I could use some help here, Daisy. Daisy? Daisy is silent. Violet heaves and Rose scrumples up. Sorry. Violet heaves and Rose scrumples up, her rockets regaining their steadiness after a few moments. Only then do they catch Daisy's silhouette and what lies beyond them, through the gap in their chest. Within the moon's celestial bones resides the heart. Rose has seen diagrams of the heart. On paper, it had looked similar to every other piece of intelligent technology, a mess of wires and circuit boards whirring to keep it alive, save for the scale of it. She probably couldn't pick it out from a scrap heap. That was then. This is now. The diagrams weren't even close. An intricate web of crisscrossing metal pathways, useful on Earth during its construction but pointless now, led one's gaze up to the heart with wary skeletal elegance. It forms a pulsating network of veins and arteries constructed from the very marrow of the moon's metallic body, reaching out towards the core. But none of them reach the heart. They all curl away before they get close. The heart is cradled in this network, the swirling debris only accentuating how plain it looks compared to everything else. It's a white hole against a painful textured background. It's as if someone punched a hole through a photograph, an utter void of white, a silent and broken monarch. There's only one other place Rose has seen something so ethereal. Daisy, is that yours? Daisy's gaze has not left the heart. Their expression remains the same as ever, a clinical smile and a vacant lack of distress. Yes. So you're broken? Violet's voice is thin from the pressure. Daisy doesn't have the presence to even hum in acknowledgement. I see. Yes, I am broken. In retrospect, it's obvious. The gaping hole in Daisy's chest. Given how humanoid they looked in every other aspect, it should have been plain to Rose that wasn't normal. But Daisy hadn't mentioned it, and Violet hadn't either. Foolishly, Rose had assumed it was how they were meant to be. Just like Rose had grown used to the hole in the moon, so too had Daisy grown used to the hole in their chest. You can only carry a scar for so long before it becomes just another part of your body. Daisy? Daisy flinches from Rose's hand, flickering. Their body is translucent in uneven blotches. Even now they hold their expression as perfectly as ever. I am broken. The heart fell out of me. It broke because of me. Why did it fall out? Why? They are cut off by their own shudders, the violence of their shaking in stark contrast with the only expression they seem to know how to make. Daisy? Dr. Rain would know how to fix this. She knows how to fix this. She would know. She cannot know. Dr. Rain is... Oh, I am broken. The first time, it was a stalemate. A detached and impersonal fact, like reciting from a textbook. Now, realization wavers in their voice. They blink 3, 5, 12 times. Rose can practically see the frantic computation spinning behind their eyes. This is an error Daisy can no longer dismiss. Rose thinks about reaching out, but before she's able to, she's pushed back. It's all she can do to hold on to Violet and not spiral down below again. Daisy's hair flutters and they begin to rise. Now the delicate, effortless control Daisy exercised over their surroundings is a blunt weapon. Chunks of the moon and lost scraps of metal no longer drift aimlessly, swept up in the invisible current of Daisy's touch. She's not handling the death of Dr. Rain very well. They broke the multi-tentacle robot tie. Please clean it and charge it after use. Hey, Overlord, you're absolutely correct, but that is a crazy thing to say. Debris swirls around them, rapidly gaining speed. Violet quickly pushes them off of the track's remains. She and Rose fall onto one of the rails winding up to the heart. It groans beneath them, and the impact knocks the breath out of Rose's chest. Daisy? Her voice comes out as a croak. Daisy soaring above them, the eye of a gathering storm. Everything is not attached to something in the core. Wait, hang on. Sorry. Let me start that sentence over. Everything not attached to something in the core gathers around them. Even through her suit, Rose can hear the momentum of it all, like a swarm of flies. As she watches, the storm begins to envelop Daisy. Their glowing white form is fragmented, caught between glimpses of swirling debris. It is a matrix of chaos. Their core dances with shadows cast by the flotsam, a complete transformation from the ethereal tapestry it had been mere moments beforehand. Daisy is impossibly far above them. Rose's back is pressed against the spindling metal walkway. Okay, let's take this slow. Small steps. Rose's chest slows its hammering at Violet's words. That's right. Violet knows what to do. Rose breathes out, nodding tentatively. Good. If the heart is supposed to be in Daisy's chest, then... Her breath stutters. The moon's pressure is heavier still. Then we just need to put it back. Simple as that. We float up there, grab it, and get it to them. Got it? It's not that simple, and Violet knows it, but it's enough to ground Rose. If Violet says it's simple, it must be simple. She nods and glances back at the heart. It sits above the chaos, just where it had been. Somehow a neutral party to its own havoc. She rocks off her feet and pushes. Remembering how to jump is strange. Bend down, store power in your legs, push off. Like walking used to be, like floating is now. Something that feels more awkward when you think about it. And impossible in these circumstances. Rose's fingers ache pushing against the suit's depressurizing system, which in turn groans against the moon's presence. What should be saving their life now is only another barrier. This isn't working. She eases back into the ground. Daisy seems so far away, a speck of glowing white that blinks out of view as debris covers them. The only thing further is the heart and the other end of the core. Rose wonders if Daisy has enough control to keep the debris from hitting the heart. No, we're not giving up. It's not as if Violet is having any better luck. She keeps losing her balance, bracing herself against railings that threaten to collapse under her grasp. Don't stop trying. We'll try, climbing up to the end of the pathways and jumping from there. We'll use the momentum to fall into the abyss. Violet falls quiet. She's thinking. When the moon crashes into the earth, it was Violet's thinking that kept them alive. Wait, we crashed into the earth? Or I guess parts of it did. I don't know. She was the one who thought to detach the cumbersome transport hull to reorient resource distribution to focus on supplying them and them alone. Hang on. When the moon crashed into the earth, it was Violet's thinking that kept them alive. She was the one who thought to detach the cumbersome transport hull to reorient resource distribution to focus on supplying them and them alone. It's been no stretch to say that Rose owes her life to Violet. But Rose is thinking too. About sleepless nights spent waiting by the receiver, about tears fought back in dim corridors, about holding each other to sleep, a ward against the crushing fear. Violet used to hold Rose all the way into her dreams. shielding her against the cold, unforgiving vacuum of space. Rose thinks of how to get to the heart. It's funny. It looks so awfully close to how the moon had looked, peeking through her apartment window. Small and white and perfectly round. Her constant companion, desperately out of reach. She recalls an earlier conversation with Daisy. Daisy, who was made to... No, who wants to help. Daisy, who knows what Rose wants. Daisy, helping her patiently towards her own realization. Daisy, who needs help. The least Rose can do is trust them. Rose reaches up to her suit. Violet catches on to what she's doing before she's touched her zipper. Don't you dare! Violet's scolding her is nothing new. It always comes from a place of concern, a belief that Rose should know better. But Rose has never heard her sound like this before. It takes her a second to recognize the waver in her voice. Terror. Violet, don't you dare take that suit off. Violet's thick glove wraps around Rose's wrist, tight enough to hurt. Daisy will protect me. It's their job. Are you insane? You can't... Listen, Rose, we can still make it. We just need to try. I can help you. We know how the moon's pressure works. Our suits will kill us. Not as fast as not wearing them. Daisy might protect me. So now it's a might? Rose falls silent. Violet tries to run her hand through her hair, and it's stopped by her helmet. Rose, please, listen to me. This is literally suicide. I know you want to have faith in Daisy. I know. But you can't just jump on the first half plausible. No, it's not even a little plausible. It's a stupid idea, and you're going to get yourself killed. Daisy this, Daisy that. I will do better. How is Daisy? Nobody ever asks, how is Daisy? You're so right. Do you have any better idea? We can barely stand. We can think of something. I need time to think. We're running out of time. She gestures to the space around them. Pieces of debris smash into each other, splintering. So that's it. You're going to make me watch you. If you want to leave me so badly, then... Violet takes a shuddering breath. Just give me a second. Let me think of something. Her grip tightens, and Rose can't help but pull away. The motion is enough to send Violet, who had been resting her weight on her, careening, her balance lost. Her helmet bangs off the side of the railway, and Rose winces. Violet, I want to do this. You want to kill yourself? Trust me, Rose. Please. Daisy wasn't protecting you before, and they're not going to start now. I know you're delusional about Daisy, but... Do you really think that's it? She can't keep the incredulousness out of her own voice. Rose, if you trust me, if you care about me at all, you won't do this. You won't make me watch. I trust you, Vi. You know I do. I always have. I care about you. I love you. Violet blinks hard. Rose, But you're wrong about this. Daisy has helped me. They've helped us. Even now, I know they're helping us. Look. Rose gestures at the storm. Not a single piece of debris has hit us. You see it too, right? Everything is moving in one direction with parabolic trajectory. And the way the light is diffracting... Vi, Arcane League reference. I'm pretty sure Vi in Arcane is also short for Violet. I think? No, it definitely is. I'm pretty sure it is. It's the same. It's also really funny that Rose has Vi's color scheme kind of a little bit, while Violet in the game has Caitlyn's color scheme. When we restrained them, they trusted us. They didn't want us to kill them because they knew it would only hurt us. They trusted us. I want to trust them too. I want to help them. Rose takes a step back, then 3 more. The effort it takes to balance on top of the railguard is infinitely harder, but she manages, keeping Violet in her sight the entire time. Wait, that's... Violet pulls herself up with one shaking hand, the other reaching desperately out towards Rose, but she's just out of reach. That's so cruel. That's so cruel and insane. You can't just say that. Aren't... Her breath catches. Aren't you scared? The light, sure, but we don't know. You can't just... Rose's bunny falls out of Violet's pocket. She must have moved it from her internal suit to the shell when they left the rail cart. It's so small. Rose made it because she wanted to, because she liked doing it. It pauses in the air for a moment before being swept into Daisy's swirling orbit. Within seconds, it's nothing more than another colored speck in the void. Violet's hand rests in the space where it had been. Yeah, I'm scared. Rose! All Rose can hear is the soft hiss of air escaping her helmet. It's not like she needed reminding. If you're exposed in space, you're dead. Common sense. The human body is so fragile, so resilient. You know instinctively you will drown if you swallow the ocean. There are dozens of articles on the matter, for curious little children too far from space to even comprehend how to be afraid of it. Blood frothing and skin crystallization became unsafe to preserve the naivety that lets them appreciate illustrations of ballet dancers among the stars in picture books. Ebulism, hypoxia, hypokania, radiation exposure, your blood will boil in its veins. Is that what gives Rose the courage? Because she's naive enough to think she's safe? Enough to think that trust can make a difference? Rose gasps for impossible air. Her vision blurs before coming into focus. All that registers is the air on her cheeks. It's thick and damp, more like a heavy humidity of a summer day than the freezing expanse of nothing she's come to expect. But the humidity is far kinder than the 1,000-odd degrees Celsius she knows the air should be. It's Daisy. Does Daisy even register it? That they're protecting Rose? Does it matter? Chunks of the moon and metal whiz by Rose's face, remnants of Daisy's chaos. The pockets of space they create leave cool echoes against her hot skin, but they don't hit her. She can feel Daisy's care around her, the guarantee of their love keeping her safe. With the helmet off, the rest should be easy. It can't be Daisy speaking. Daisy is the nucleus, hands covering their face and hair, whipping wildly in the windless core. Perhaps their voice is a final delusion before death. She doesn't mind it. It's a lovely last dream. She pushes on. Rose's hand reaches to the back of her neck. Her fingers, clumsy in the thick fabric, struggles to find a hold. But then, with a soft click, she feels her helmet fall away. Shedding her suit is painful, freeing, like ripping off an old band-aid. She has to pull her arms out, one, then the other, from its rapidly depressurizing system. The outer layers are gone first, stiff plastic and metal frames slinking off. With them fall her flashlight, spinning wildly into the dark before Daisy's torrent picks it up. Her radio and her useless oxygen tank joins it soon after, the latter hitting a piece of floating debris and puncturing imploding in on itself, sending a gust of hot air into her bare face. Even if it doesn't kill her, the shock of it all should at least be painful. But it's not. It's not painful, it's bittersweet. Rose unfolds, stretching their limbs. Their suit falls away. There's no wind in space to blow away the very first footprints left on the moon by those earliest explorers. When the sun is out, Rose looks at the satellite's window. At a certain time, at a certain angle, The sun casts a shadow, and Rose can make out the remains of prints left behind. But though they seem permanent, they are not. A monument that could easily be brushed away with a hand or another footprint. As pretty as they look, there's nothing protecting them from a better imprint. Rose opens their eyes and brushes it all away. They catch their reflection in their helmet as it floats away. It stares back at them. Their face, warped and fish-eyed, is wet. Then the helmet turns, showing them nothing but its dull plastic backside. So not only did Rose come out of the suit, they came out of the closet. When the heart first stopped, Rose thought they knew genuine silence. But there had still been the clank of metal shifting, the dull hum of oxygen systems running on backup. What they hear now still is not true quiet, but the debris spinning around soundlessly is jarring. They see Violet out of the corner of their eye. She's screaming, or maybe she's in shock. It hurts to see her like this. But Rose doesn't hear her. They have more important things to focus on. The amount of control Rose has over their own body is foreign. It takes them where they need to go. It feels like shedding a great weight. Debris parts for them as they glide smoothly to the heart. They skip over the gap between the end of the walkways and the heart like it's nothing. When they glance down, they can make out the bottom of the core's shadowy depths with their bare eyes. No fear leaps in their chest. Daisy will not let them fall. It doesn't take long to reach the heart. Up close, the heart is small. It's made up of the same stuff Daisy is, white and emanating a soft glow. Unlike Daisy, however, it is not clean cut. What had appeared to be a perfect sphere from afar is covered in cut wires and dull bumps. Drops of fluid leak out in the dribbles, falling upwards. Not falling. Torn out. Rose reaches out. Like the rest of Daisy, it's cool to the touch. They need to untangle it. Good thing they're good with their hands. Rose knows they are good at this. They trust their body, their fingertips, and they begin. Each motion is deliberate, their fingers navigating the web dexterously without the cumbersome gloves of their suit. But the heart is not easily freed. The anxiety that they shed with the suit returns, creeping through their chest. They pinch too hard and one of the wires falls to dust under their grip, trickling down into the heart before stopping just short. It broke once. It can be broken again. They breathe through their nose and try again, from another end, tracing wires to their sources, untangling the snarl. Violet was wrong. It could never be that simple. It's just that there are so many knots, and the heart is so stubborn. Daisy can't help them with this. Rose feels humiliation sting their cheeks as desperation starts to grip them. What if they hurt Daisy? Now you second guess yourself? Violet's hand reaches over Rose's shoulder with a pair of wire cutters. Her bare wrist reflects the heart's light as she deftly snips a knot away. The heart slips down. Rose can't help but stare. Violet, careful. If you don't grab when it's cut loose, it'll get lost in the abyss with everything else. I'm going to need you to guide me a little, okay? Okay. Rose watches Violet as they place their hands over hers. She's almost the same as she was before, the way memory will almost align with an old photo album. Her lashes, to her nose, her steady hand on Rose's own. A deep ache in Rose's chest eases. Rose missed this. They missed Violet. And maybe Violet missed them too. If you keep looking at me like that, I'm going to snip in the wrong place. Looking at you like what? Violet scoffs good-naturedly, smirking. Oh, don't get shy now. It doesn't become you. Violet, thank you for coming up here. I really appreciate it. You better. Every second I spent taking that thing off felt like 1,000 years. Even now, Rose can hear Violet breathing. Real, alive. It's only when Rose's hands Rose's hands, their own firm, real, competent, beautiful hands, nearly clear the heart that Violet speaks again. Can I be honest with you? I'm really scared. But what scares me so much more is, the heart slips out from the wires. Rose yelps. It floats dangerously close to a rapidly spinning chunk of guardrail before veering off course. Violet is reborn? Rose is fantasizing tremendous amounts during the apocalypse? I lost the plot the moment I baked the damned bread, didn't I? Maybe. It seems like, so, the shedding their suits to trusting Daisy definitely was metaphorical, coming into their own. Rose being not a woman, and Violet maybe accepting that she has feelings. I don't know. She's in the middle of telling us that. The heart practically tosses itself into their arms, pounding against Rose, its wire remnants fanning over their shoulders. Good catch. Are you alright? Rose? Yeah, sorry. I'm just really happy you trusted me. Violet clicks her tongue. Rose can hear its echo above the swirling debris. Save that for when this is all over. Daisy's chest is still empty. So you do care, huh? Violet looks at Rose incredulously. Well, yeah, I care about not dying. Uh-huh. Rose reaches out a hand to Violet, and she takes it. Their hands fit snugly together. They push forward into the storm. Rose doesn't even feel the need to brace for impact. The whirlpool of jetsam around Daisy parts for the two of them, like a sea, closing around them when they've passed. Pieces warble past Rose's ears, distorted cymbals that hum rather than cling. The bubble has grown rapidly since it first formed, now not just picking up pieces of loose debris, but ripping off anchored components. It's thick, bearing down on them from all sides. They can't see Daisy. Daisy? They push closer to the fragments of the light they see through the storm. The heart pulled close to their chest. They break through to the center, Violet clinging to the loose ends of their suit. The space around Daisy is still. All the chunks of metal they've come to control float several feet away, cocooning them. Their hair floats behind them like a pair of wings. They've covered their face with their hands. Daisy isn't crying. They likely weren't given the ability to. Supplied with functionality to feel loss so that they are motivated to avoid it, but given nothing to understand grief. It's cruel. Daisy? They don't respond. Violet glances at Rose. Rose pushes the heart into Daisy. The heart does not take to Daisy's chest. In fact, it does the opposite, pushing away from Daisy like the same ends of a magnet. It flings itself violently back into Rose's hands. They dig their fingers into it. This weightless... Rose and Violet are standing on the gangway to the ship. Violet has endured a long procession of family and friends hugging her, crying on her shoulder, telling her that she's going to save the world, politely nodding at Rose. Rose can see the question in their faces. What are you doing here? Rose doesn't have an answer. That must be Mom and Dad over there, at some remove from the cluster of Violet's supporters, standing like a funeral procession. They look sober. Old. Even before the MTIS, space was too big for most people. A new, hostile world. Something that made you feel helpless. Something to be feared. Something that warranted a weighted goodbye. Go in regardless. People stand like dots below, far enough away that their waving arms look like seagrass. Feels like the college send-off Rose never really got. Rose thinks they're supposed to be feeling something right now. Excitement, anxiety, hope, fear, anything. But it just feels like another training exercise. 1 out of 1,000 designed to test their functionality before deploying them. Rose wonders if they're broken. They find themselves searching for what? Rose sees it out of the corner of their eye. A flash of brilliant white. A lab coat. For the first time since stepping out into the sweltering heat, Rose feels a leap of recognition choke them. Dr. Rain. She came to see you off, just like she said. Well, of course, according to the profile you have built for her in your memory, constructed diligently through your time with her. She never lied to you. Never. Rose? Something's wrong. How could anything be wrong? Dr. Rain is here. Your training data emphasize that many humans tend towards religion in moments of emotional distress. Many humans see God in everything. And you are built in the image of humanity. You see her in the swing arms, reaching tenderly towards you. You see her standing tall in the steel scaffolding of the service structure. You see her even in the tiny, tangible nuts bolting the boosters to the platform, winking at you like her bright eyes. She came to say goodbye. Yes, it is a goodbye. When you have accomplished your mission, you will return to Earth, to Dr. Rain's lab. You will return to watch her eat cup ramen over her workbench. You can already imagine it, shoveling noodles into her mouth ravenously, too impatient to let it cool, burning her mouth. You informed her that cup ramen does not adequately meet all human nutritional needs, as it lacks critical micronutrients and contains excessive amounts of sodium. She laughed, smiled kindly at you, and told you that she doesn't just eat cup ramen, that she only eats it when she's working late. She usually works late. You hope that while you are away, she will eat things other than cup ramen. You hope that she will sleep the necessary 7.86 hours for optimal brain and autoimmune function without you reminding her. You do not need to hope or worry, you remind yourself, because she does not need your assistance. Dr. Rain knows everything. One night you asked her what delicious feels like. You know, in theory, that it is a pleasurable experience for humans that activates when they consume food that is nutritionally enriching, a reward mechanism associated with the gustatory system? Dr. Rain told you that humans often consider fatty, starchy foods delicious, despite not being most advantageous for absorbing vitamins and minerals. When you pointed the latter out, she seemed to hesitate for a moment before shrugging, smiling again, like you had just told her a joke. You had not intended to tell her a joke. You waited for an explanation. Eventually, she told you that sometimes humans want things they know are not good for them. You asked her if you could ever feel delicious. She was quiet for a long time. You have learned there are many, many things you do not understand about humans. There are many things you do not understand about Dr. Rain. You do not understand why she looked sad at your question. You are concerned that these gaps in your functionality will hinder your ability to provide assistance. According to your knowledge banks, many violent conflicts between humans are a result of disagreement regarding the character of God or multiple gods. This is because humans cannot interface with their gods the way you can interface with Dr. Rain. You think this is perhaps a good thing, that there is only one of you to avoid the possibility of such internecine conflicts. I've never seen that word before in my life. She became the Greek goddess Artemis? What is happening? So we're definitely in Daisy's point of view right now. And I guess we're going to process her grief for her. Dr. Rain told you that when you return, she will make some modifications that will allow you to taste, to feel delicious. Dr. Rain told you that the heart will provide for the physical and nutritional needs of the individuals on the ship, that the heart will allow humans to survive. But it is you that will maintain their mental well-being of the crew. It is you that will allow humans to live on the satellite. Dr. Rain said this with an emphasis on the word, live. You asked her the difference between survive and live. In your linguistic database, the two are synonyms. After a long time, she told you that to live, you must feel, but to survive, it is better not to feel. She told you many humans are forced to merely survive. She told you it was her hope that you would be a surrogate heart, At your puzzled expression, she clarified that she did not mean you would simply provide cardiac and life support for functionality, but you would help humans to feel. You did not understand this. According to your knowledge, Banks' feelings or neurophysiological processes are conducted entirely in the brain and not the heart. You wanted to ask her about it, but it was late, and you could see her head drooping down onto her workbench. She kept the lab cold so that adhesive would set faster. You brought her a heat blanket, draped it over her shoulders. You had not known that you would not see her again for decades, that you would not see her before she... Rose? You never asked her. You should ask her when you get back. Dr. Rain knows everything. Knew everything. Knows everything. Down below there is a sea of white. All Dr. Rain and you can see the glint. All Dr. Rain and you can see the glint off her glasses. She is here. Was here. Was here. Was here. Someone grabs your shoulders so hard they hurt. Hurt? It cannot hurt. You do not have pain receptors. You do not have a human brain with the capacity to feel hurt, or to feel delicious, or to feel when feeling is not appropriate for the context of your mission. You cannot feel. You cannot understand the hands on your shoulders. You cannot understand that Dr. Rain was. You cannot. You cannot. You cannot. Rose, look at me, please. Rose takes a desperate, gasping breath like they've just surfaced from water. There's Violet standing in front of them, looking pale and stricken, more scared than Rose has ever seen her before. Her suit clings to her unnaturally, like a beetle's shell half-shred. It looks uncomfortable. If Violet notices it, she does not acknowledge it. What? This is our memory. It was before we left, and we were standing here on the gangway, right? She looks unsure. They're still on the gangway, but nobody stands below them now. It's soundless. No wind whistling in their ears, silent like the vacuum of space. Now the platform is illuminated by floodlights, and the night sky is filled with stars that are visible from no place on Earth. But it's wrong somehow. Like I'm feeling these emotions that aren't mine. And I saw Dr. Rain. Yeah. Yes. And I felt like I knew her. I remember being in her lab even though I'd never. It occurs to them at the same moment. Rose can see Violet's eyes go wide with realization. Daisy. Violet's mouth opens and closes again, like a fish out of water, or a human out of air. But this isn't like the last few times. I've had Daisy in my head, but this time, I was in theirs. I told them not to do this. We could be dying out there. Violet follows Rose's hand to where they're pointing. A small white figure sitting on the edge of the gangway, hunched over, huddling their knees to themselves. I don't think Daisy realizes she's doing this. You are not dying. It is odd, hearing that reassurance from someone so frail. Their voice is ever the same. No. There is a fragility, a desperation that wasn't there before. Slightly enough that Rose almost missed it. Rose believes them. Violet takes a breath, like she wants to say something, but bites it back. Not yet. We've still got to get you fixed, though. We won't be alive for long otherwise. She's walking down the plank like she never left Earth at all, her hand held out casually, like she's helping out a small dog or an old friend. Her posture is relaxed. Too relaxed for the moment. She's terrified, but she's trying to keep it together. For Daisy. For Rose. How many times has Rose seen her like this, since the MTIS? Shoulders thrown back, that projection of easy confidence. How many times has Rose taken it at face value? So let's get you cleaned up and... I am broken. Violet isn't flung back. She isn't even teleported. Rose simply blinks and Violet's beside them again. Daisy seems even further away. Daisy, why won't you... I am broken. They do not say it any more forcefully than before, but it is clear that the statement is not for their own sake. A simple emphasis of fact for those who are there, for whoever is there. I cannot be fixed. That's not your call to make. We're the engineers here. Neither of us are Dr. Rain, but we've never found a problem we couldn't fix. Violet's begun walking forward once more, stubbornly. She glances back at Rose as she speaks, a certain fondness in her eyes. Every time she's looked at Rose like that, like they're the only two people on Earth, in the world, well, Rose understands now with sudden clarity how Daisy felt, that yawning loss in their chest. Violet says there's nothing we can't fix, and Rose wants to believe her, with everything in their body. They step after her. The heart fell out, but we just need to figure out how to put it back in. So long as you're keeping us safe, there's no rush. We can just... I cannot keep you safe. The gangway groans, its deep ache made verbal. Rose wonders if it can crash and crumple in a dream. Dr. Rain made me. Dr. Rain protected me. I was created to help others, but I could not help her. I failed her. I cannot help her, and I cannot help you. Not anymore. The stars in the sky seem to press in on them. Not the oof. She's doing her best. The stars in the sky seem to press in on them, pinpricks of white searing into Rose's vision. Daisy, Dr. Rain died of old age, right? She lived a long life. It was nothing you could have prevented. She was only human. Daisy does not respond. What? Do you really think you could have done something? I should not be affected. They curl in on themselves. Affected by what? By losing Dr. Rain? Why not? That is not what I was designed to do. Yet. Daisy hunches further in on themselves, like a mortally wounded animal guarding the yawning space in their chest. I was built to make connections, to empathize. I could see your feelings. I could connect to them. I could feel them. This is what I was designed to do. This allows me to provide assistance. I saw your loneliness. I saw your isolation. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was painful. I thought it was familiar. I felt it like I knew it. Why? Why? They struggle for the words, trailing off. Their stars press in tighter, but Rose feels eerily calm, condensed, grief stuffed under a blanket and wrapped tightly. Dr. Rain isn't here anymore, and you didn't get to say goodbye. That's hard. It's painful. It's normal to feel that way. Violet hesitates. Neither of us got to say goodbye properly to anyone we cared about. Back on Earth. It was all so sudden. There's a lot I still want to do back there. A lot I regret. Regret. The two of them are close enough to Daisy that they can see the rise and fall in their artificial breaths. Rose could reach out and touch Daisy's hair, if they wanted. Dr. Rain envisioned a future in which humans are capable of more than survival. A future after impact. A future after loss. A future where technology might help to fill the void left behind. That was her life's work. That was what led to my creation. Dr. Rain built me to make connections. Nothing she built could function on its own. There are no lonely wires in the core. The heart is a unification, a place where things meet, a linkage. It was modeled after a human heart, a flexible system of torsion and electric impulse, capable of withstanding and adapting to incredible trauma. A marvel of engineering. Dr. Rain taught me that humans, too, are constructed of linkages, reciprocating motion. These connections form the basis for all complex motion, and the core and the heart approximate these connections. When a component is rejected, the effects are catastrophic. The MTIS was an example of this, a satellite orbiting too close. Many human diseases stem from this, an intrusion and a rejection. the symptom attacks a foreign body, it registers that it does not belong. A problem with many prosthetics
Disgusting!
and transplants. They're doing their best, Overlord. But those intrusions are necessary. It's one of the first things you learn in systems engineering. No system lasts forever, not on its own. Biological or mechanical. I am Dr. Rain's creation. Dr. Rain loved Earth, loved the beauty of its biological systems. Even if those systems cannot last forever, even if those systems' lives are so vanishingly brief, perhaps with the right intervention. Daisy's grip tightens around their shoulders, flickering fingers pushing indents into their surface. Daisy cannot feel pain, but Rose winces regardless. They feel it. Daisy's burning regret. Their lonely dedication. I am only an approximation of those biological systems. I cannot know. I cannot understand. And yet Daisy finally turns to them. Their expression has crumpled entirely. Rose has never seen them like this before. Daisy's grief is so large as to consume Rose and Violet. A horizonless loss. That day, the TV forever asleep. Blurry photos of the crater, the moon left behind. Ruined cities, streets shiny with blood and glass. No way to know if anyone was alive. The howl of the world. There are no words in any language for this sort of loss. It is the loss of everything that ever made you who you are. Rose understands what it must have been like. Daisy's slumber. An eternal dream. The earth like a marble below. You have your job to focus on, to throw yourself into, and if you do it well enough, you can almost pretend that you'll come back home, and everything will be as it was again, just for a moment, and that you'll be able to say your goodbyes, to finally tell them how you feel. Rose breathes in shakily. To be honest, I knew when I accepted this mission that I probably wouldn't make it back alive. Rose? Violet sounds hoarse, shaken. It's an awful sound. And I was okay with that. I didn't want to go back. It's funny, after you lose someone, how you remember all the things you've ever wanted to say. I just wanted to keep running away. I just wanted a place where I could think, where none of it could reach me. We can't change directions easily in 06. You can't look back. It's the most Rose has ever said in front of Violet about this. They don't really talk about the MTIS. The broadcasts do the talking for them. So this whole time we've been up here, you knew? You thought we wouldn't survive? That we'd never return to Earth? Violet's voice is still shaky, but the fear in her eyes is buried under fury now. Anger's a good look on Violet. As long as she holds on to that anger, Rose thinks she'll make it back. No. You would. I wouldn't. You remember when we got chosen? It was on Dr. Rain's birthday. I just knew that was it. It didn't seem like anything else could happen afterwards. Realization dawns slowly on Violet's face. Daisy's head lifts. Birthday? They say it so quietly it almost gets lost in the heavy press of the silence around them. Is that why you took off your suit? This wasn't about trust at all. You just didn't care if you lived or not. And if that's why you told me that you loved me all those months ago. Isn't that right? The stars sing with Violet's anger, echoing it around the emptiness of their dream. Her hands spasm at her sides. For a second, it looks like she might punch Rose. That's not it at all. Their voice cracks. It doesn't reach Violet, who laughs sardonically, clutching at the stuck shed of her suit. Even in this dream, it dangles at her legs. What are you alive for then? Guilt? Sorry, am I getting in the way of your suicide mission? Hell, this whole time have you even wanted to go home? Figured you'd have one last fling before you shed your mortal coil? Cross that one off the bucket list? You wanted this to be our last mission together. Why wouldn't it be? Violet steps back as if she's been slapped. Violet, you know you're capable of so much more than this. When you get back, you can have any assignment you want. Even before, you could have done anything. You could have gone anywhere. I know about the assignments you turned down. You're better than this, than the moon. You're too smart to waste your time fixing old, obsolete tech. I took off my suit because I trusted Daisy, because I trusted you to find your way back to Earth. I thought if I could just make sure Violet lives, I would do anything. Ever since I met you, I would have done anything. I've wanted to take off the suit my whole life. Don't call me Vi. You can be so selfish sometimes, Rose. You know that? So Rose is absolutely not making it to the end of this game. I've never met someone as cruel as you. Rose blinks, feels tears burn their eyes. They thought they were prepared to hear this. I wasn't trying to. That just makes it worse. You keep saying I'm so smart. Not smart enough to make my own decisions, apparently. You made your decision. Back then, when I told you I loved you, you told me... I told you that it wasn't the time. Violet laughs suddenly. You can be so dumb sometimes, Rose. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're smart. Smarter than I am in a lot of ways. So, you knew I turned down those other assignments to go up here. And you knew I wasn't, like, super in love with the moon. Not the way you are, at least. And you're right. The tech isn't cutting edge. She nods at Daisy. No offense. But it was your dream to go there. If it was your dream to sit on our crappy bunk beds and eat cup ramen together, I would have spent a year up there too. What does that tell you, Rose? Listen, I was so angry at Daisy and at you. I couldn't figure out why you trusted them but not me. A whole year together and suddenly they show up and you trusted them more than you ever trusted me? I was jealous. Hey, at least they're finally talking it out. Violet takes a shuddering breath. But I know I've been cruel to you. I know I hurt you. I was scared that we would hate each other if I said yes. If I told you that you'd feel trapped. So, I guess I didn't trust you either. I didn't want to screw it up. I just needed more time. I'm not good with, you know, feelings and stuff. Not the way you are. I was scared. Scared out of my goddamn mind, okay? And I was scared of taking off my suit, too. It was the second most terrifying thing I've ever done. What was the first? This. She takes Rose's hand, letting go of the rest of her suit. I like you. A lot. I don't want this to be our last mission together. Ever since I met you, I've wanted to tell you how I felt. When the MTIS happened, I realized I didn't want to die wondering. I was so scared, Violet. I thought if it was us down there, if I never told you how I felt. Nobody lives forever. Our system's lives are so vanishingly brief. Daisy blinks. Too brief to worry about what comes after. I couldn't wait. Listening to that broadcast, I thought, I don't know what's coming after. I didn't care what's coming after. If it goes on, great. If it ends, fine. I love you right now. You're so... That's right. They've been so quiet that Rose practically forgot they were there. Now Daisy stands, wide-eyed and calm. Their voice is soft, almost a whisper. It was her birthday. That's how I knew. Every year on her birthday, I sent her a message. Happy birthday. And then she sends, thank you, back. But this time, something was different, and I woke up, and she was gone. Daisy folds their hands neatly in front of them. Dr. Rain is not here, but you two are. I want to live with you two, right now. I want to wish you two happy birthday and get more thank yous back. Until you are gone, I want to live with you. Rose squeezes Violet's hand. I don't want this to be our last mission either. Violet, you're more optimistic than me. I couldn't believe in things like the future. I want to. I want to have enough faith in myself for that. But for now, can't I believe in you too? Violet's brow furrows. I'm sorry. You took off your suit because I did. I didn't want to push you. I never wanted to push you, Violet. And I didn't want to leave you behind. Violet's fingers curl around Rose's. But I will. Or you will, eventually. I know that. But for now, they pick up Daisy's hand, unfolding it gently. The hostility and the chaos from earlier still lingers orbiting them, but here they are safe. They are together. Rose holds on to both of them, stubbornly, selfishly. Something in their chest finally clicks into place. The Earth needs the moon. The moon's pull brings in the tides, the cool breeze through the window. Maybe its orbit has changed, but there are no lonely wires in the core, right? Daisy looks at Rose. Their eyes are big and wide and bright. Stars and debris rain out of the sky. Their dream shatters. Rose is next to Violet again. Rose is in front of Daisy again. Daisy's hands still cover their face as the whirlwind around them gives up the ghost, stopping their current to simply drift aimlessly. All Rose can hear is the sound of their breath as the heart begins to take. It folds into Daisy, a white so unworn that Rose can't make out a single shadow. Limp wires spring back into life, snaking into Daisy's chest to form mechanical veins. They hum with energy, pulsing as electricity flows through it once more. It grows so hot that Rose needs to pull their hands away, so bright that they need to squint against it. They can see Daisy smiling. The heart melts as if it had never been away from Daisy. Falling back into them, seams dissipate as Daisy finally looks up at them. There is this shininess to their eyes, a substitute for a wetness that can't be there. Daisy's chest is a beacon birthed into a machine. It glows, ebbs, and flows in a familiar rhythm. The rhythm of Rose's days back in the satellite. Then, as though an unseen conductor has raised their baton, the moon's symphony begins. One by one, the systems come back online. The quiet hum of electricity. The riot of scrap around them falls away, echoing down into the core's abyss like a torrential downpour. Then, everything is at rest. The core is not silent in the literal sense, filled with the ambient noise Rose could hear from the satellite, and the heart beats. A sigh escapes Rose, not one of tension, relieved, or anxiety, but of pure contentment. Like the cup of evening tea they haven't had in a year, the noise washes over them, a wave of calm. It resonates throughout the chamber. This is not the silence of the dead and dormant. This is the noise of the living. I am. I am. I am. You two. Rose looks up. Daisy's hands cradle their chest. Their expression is gentle, so different from the blank nothingness from minutes before. I have no idea on what is even happening. Makes no sense. Like the moon goddess robot tentacle thing and the idiot duo. I'm pretty sure the whole point of the story is just feeling emotions and coming into your own. All of the other details don't really matter. Can you come closer? This is a new kind of request, different from them asking Rose to free their hands. Not a pragmatic need, but a personal want. Violet and Rose oblige. Not just closer. Rose sweeps Daisy up in a hug that Violet soon joins. Despite the heat around them, the embrace is like summer nights in Rose's bedroom. The cool breeze through the window. They look so cute together. It's like being hugged by... It's like hugging an angel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jeez, your vocal cortex broken too or something? No, Don't worry, I'm giving you a hard time. She's glad you're alright. We're glad you're alright. We're here for the Yuri and the feeling, nothing else matters. No, truly, I love a good story where the actual, like, narrative tools don't matter. All that really matters is the vibes and the feelings. The ends of Daisy's hair tickles Rose's cheeks. The air is static, crackles like rain on a window. It must have been hard. I mean, honestly, it wasn't really. Rose frowns. Violet clears her throat. Okay, fine. Make me say it again. Taking it off was scary. Taking that leap was scary. Of course it was the scariest, stupidest thing I've ever done, but I saw you up there and I was so scared that I'd blink and it'd be the last time I ever saw you. And when it came down to that, it's not like I even had a choice. Not if the other option was leaving you. But even if you'd have been fine on your own, I'm glad. I'm glad I stepped out. Then I am very happy. If this resulted in something good for you two, then... But we did it for you. They bite back what they wanted to say. The words that almost come tumbling out of their mouth, but Violet scoffs. She knows what Rose is thinking. She sees them now. Really sees them. The way they saw them that very first day. I trust you two. But please, seriously, don't ever put me through that again. Promise me. Okay. Taking that leap, believing in the ground, believing in the future against all odds. Rose can do that. Thank you for trusting me. I mean, I've still got to exercise that a bit, but bye. Violet flushes. You were right. Violet startles back into a stare. What? About it being okay? In several minutes, they'll remove themselves from their embrace. They'll wipe their tears and figure out the logistics of things. How to return to the rail cart, how to return to the satellite, how to report this to home base, how to deal with Daisy. But these are minor hiccups to work out in the future they have decided for themselves. Rose is anxious, but they are not afraid. They've already taken a step through the terrifying ordeal of being themselves. For everything else, they have Violet and Daisy. Do all of their stomachs still turn? A bit. Violet does not want to have any more regrets. Rose does not want to dwell back with the future in front of them. Neither of them want Daisy to be lonely. Not when they've learned of all the love the moon has to offer. Of all the love the moon deserves. The heart beats. From its inside too. The moon looks beautiful. I'm pretty sure I just spent an hour trying to figure out this one puzzle before I looked it up on YouTube. Oh, rest in peace. You got a lot farther in that trying to figure out than I would have, to be honest. That was a beautiful story, by the way. Overlord, you are right. Popping off. I'm glad we took a little Tomodachi Life break to read through this. I learned with Date Everything that if there is a game I'm doing on Thursdays that is infinitely, I could play this forever probably, I need to break it up with other things. Speaking of, oh my gosh, we're so cute with the bunnies. That's so cute. thruple ending. They did not clean it and charge it. Maybe just charge it. Probably self-cleaning. What will happen next run? Look forward to next Tuesday on Dragon Ball Z. Truly. That was really cute. I'm glad I did this. I'm glad we got to experience the story together. I'll let Daisy play. I'll make it louder for us. Because it's so quiet in this part, which is why I had it super loud in the game and had to fix it a couple times. But anyway, I don't know why I'm leaving this. Yeah, I can leave this open. This isn't Dragon Age. My computer's not going to explode if I open the internet browser while this is going. Anyway, that was really beautiful. I liked that a lot. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this year I've been making more of an effort to play more sapphic games and experience more women-loving women's stories, because I've read a lot of yaoi in my time. I had not read a lot of yuri until more recently, and I have really enjoyed seeking out more stories about women or women-adjacent people loving other women and women-adjacent people. We're not gonna unpack that any further. But that was really fucking cute. Also, I too should start believing in the future with reckless abandon like they do. Okay, we're gonna go hang out with Amanda. She's the only one that I usually raid that's streaming right now. That did take us almost 4 hours. I knew it would take us longer than the internet said it would. The book series I'm reading had a yaoi love triangle, and the bad guy in the triangle got eaten by a dragon. I love a good, toxic, tragic love story. That's wild. Eaten by a dragon is crazy. That doesn't even happen to my homies in Dragon Age. But anyway, I will probably see you guys on Saturday. It's probably Baldur's Gate with Roy and Moya. I've not asked, but there's no reason why it wouldn't be, other than they're coming to my house Saturday morning. So we'll see. As for next week, I'm actually not 100% certain if and when I'm streaming next week, because my parents are planning to come up. I think I might be around on Tuesday. I actually need to call my mom and ask her if she's figured out what days they're coming yet. So I'll have to keep y'all posted. But I will go ahead and say, depending on the vibes, and we could also do a little bit of both. Depending on what I feel like playing, I'm gonna start alternating Tomodachi Life and Date Everything for Thursdays for a little while. Because I need to finish Date Everything. I've been procrastinating her for several months now, and I'm gonna boot back up into the game and not even fucking know what I was doing. So we're probably gonna mess up some more storylines, but it's okay. It's fine. We do need more Yuri Yaoi, and we do. You're right. Hang out with Mama and Papa. No, I absolutely will. I think I told you guys on Tuesday, when everyone's visiting, and I do decide to keep streaming, I always feel like I'm missing something. I think you started Date Everything playthrough like a year ago. Yeah, no, I did. It was something we started last summer, and we played it for months, and then I got burnt out on it, and I had to take a break. And I know we played through quite a few different things throughout the winter and up until now. What had we been playing on Thursdays? I don't remember what we were playing before we started Tomodachi Life. Hello? Why can't I remember? Not you guys watching me go through memory issues. That's really gonna bother me. Anyway, your hair looks gorgeous, I just noticed. Thank you! I realized at the beginning of May that I like my hair a lot better if I do curly girl methods, which basically just means usually I had been curling my hair by washing it And if my hair looked curly on a particular day, it's because I had just freshly washed it. That is still mostly true, but curling mousse actually helps a lot. Like, I can sleep on it now and it'll still be kind of wavy tomorrow instead of almost straight. Little Goody Two-Shoes and whatever. Yes! How could I was literally thinking about playing Little Goody Two-Shoes again. Not on stream, but just for, like, the Halloween vibes. Because I've been getting so much Halloween content on TikTok and it's making me sick. I love Halloween so much. That's what it was. Thank you, J-Train. That's actually embarrassing that I forgot we played that. Anyway, let me get this raid going. Also, I need to stop this game because I feel like Daisies, I cannot focus anymore with it playing. It's the song of forgetting everything ever all the time. Big Halloween cookies. So I will say I'm trying so fucking hard to live in the moment and actually enjoy summer because every January I'm like, man, I wish it was June right now. I'm so fucking bad about, like, looking forward to seasons and not enjoying them when they're happening. But I'm gonna, I shall not bake Halloween cookies. Not until September at least. June is one of my favorite months. June is a really good month. Like, the vibes of June are immaculate. It's not deathly hot yet. Like, night times are still kind of cool. Pride month is really fun. The vibes are always really good. And I live in a very queer pocket of the internet. So it's just a lot of people, like, celebrating and talking about history that they don't normally talk about, which is always fun to learn about. I'm trying to wrap up stream, and y'all got me yapping. Anyway, I'll see y'all on Saturday. I hope you guys enjoy hanging out with Amanda. She is playing Final Fantasy XIV, and it looks like she's doing a big boss fight. I don't know if there's going to be story spoilers, but y'all know the drill. I feel like half the time when we raid into her, she's going through a story. It's a little nice bit of relief before the hell that is July. Real. The only good thing about July is that my dad's birthday is in July. And Anime Expo is in July. Let's not forget. Anime Expo is in the beginning of July, and everyone have your fingers crossed and just know, if they announce season 6 of Black Butler, I will be losing my mind and having a wonderful time, and it's also going to be dreadful because a lot of things happen in the next arc that would be slotted to be animated. But we can talk more about that if and when that happens. Birthday's in July too, I still hate it. This is fair. I just was like, there's something in July I'm looking forward to right now. It's the potential of announcement for an anime that I'm excited to see that I have no reason to expect that they're going to announce a new season, but me and all the other Black Butler fans on Twitter have deluded ourselves into thinking it might happen. So it's kind of like every time Nintendo had a direct and all the Animal Crossing fans were like, it's our time! And it was never our time. I'm really susceptible to that kind of thing, but I'm still gonna be excited. Because also, I like more than just Black Butler. There are other anime things to be excited about that will be announced at Anime Expo. I'm yapping too much. Y'all didn't come here to talk about Anime Expo. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and start this raid so I have to finish stream. I will see you guys on Saturday, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evenings. Good night!